clearly hit the button because you didn't. Did I call it? Did I not call it?
Oh my
Everybody, I want
God.
everyone to know that I 100% picked up the phone and I called it. I said they're not going to answer any of these questions whatsoever, and it's all going to be like, "Oh, setup for the next season of the Acolyte," which no one is going to want to see, and it's not going to be produced because the show is going to get terrible ratings and no one's going to watch it.
Well, I mean, that's not like a big reveal because pretty much anyone could anticipate. The writing was so poor in this show that obviously they weren't going to be able to finish everything up.
They didn't finish anything.
Yeah,
Was there a
you're
single
exactly right. Yeah,
was
there's
there a
nothing.
single answer or new piece of information presented in this episode, the final episode of this mystery box show?
No, we ended up on complete like still empty box. Empty
Yes,
box, mystery box. No, the
nothing
mystery box
happened.
was empty.
This is crazy. Nothing happened. I can't believe. I thought they were going to answer some things, but nothing. You know how like in the last episode we find out that, or the previous episode, I should say, we find out that Osha and May's mom turned into like a smoke demon and then started like melting May. And we're like, oh, well, and then Soul stabs her with a lightsaber because it looked like she was doing evil like witch magic, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, I wonder what that was about. Well, you want to know? You want to know, chat? You want to know what that was about? No one knows what that was about because the writers don't know. They don't know and they don't care. We will never ever find out what the fuck that was about.
Remember when May and Osha did that cool switcheroo? Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that an amazing setup for nothing?
Yes.
Like, what was the purpose of that? What was the
Yes.
purpose of any of this?
I don't know. At the end of this episode, they wipe May's memory for no reason. For no fucking reason, Adam. They wipe her memory. It doesn't do anything. It's pointless. This is insane. This is insane. I can't get over this.
Well, there is a cameo too by Darth. Is it Darth Phagus that
Is that
everyone
who
is
that was
talking
supposed to
about?
be?
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah. Let's see,
So, th-
Darth Phagus or
oh, be careful.
Phagus.
Be careful with the language there.
Darth 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 Plagueis. That's it.
Darth Plagueis. Okay.
Okay. So there's a cameo by Darth Plagueis. A lot of people have been talking about how cool it would be or how they think Darth Plagueis is somehow behind this. Like, we have no context. It's just Darth Plagueis doing a peeping Tom from inside like a cave. There's absolutely no context for this guy to be in this show, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is he there? I don't know.
There's
Do
a
they know? I
scene.
don't know.
The scene is, and I don't, oh, here it is. It's at, if you have like the
No, no.
screenshot.
Let's just go through the show. Let's go through the
Okay.
show. Just there's a bunch of stuff in here. Look, I first of all, we started off with our pitch. I mean, they basically end the series where my pitch was, and everybody said, "Okay, Adam, you can't do that. You're gonna piss people off, right?" My idea was, you start off page one, right? The Jedi are bastards covering up all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk it back. You walk people off the ledge, right? They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. All Jedi are bastards, right? And by
Yeah.
the end, you realize, okay, I misunderstood here. They did the right thing. The Jedi did the right thing. They were in a terrible situation and they did the right thing, right? This does the complete opposite, right? They're basically giving you zero information all along, and then they ended on, okay, the Jedi are just evil. They're like evil.
Yeah. I mean, you totally called it that they literally did an A jab. All Jedi are bastards,
They
and
did.
they even had. I mean, and I hate to bring like it into it, but they did it intentionally. They even had a strong black senator tell the Jedi cops that the Jedi are out of control and need to have congressional oversight. I was just like, oh my god, is this for real? This is
They
really
even
happening in this show?
Look, they even did, you know how always with all cops are bastards, they're saying, no, this is systemic problems with policing, and the right is constantly blaming just the one rogue cop. They do that. They turn Soul into the one rogue cop that everyone blames, but really they're hiding systemic,
Right.
like, evil.
Well, and it's not even, and it's so stupid because you're like, it's not even clear why anyone's hiding anything at all.
Yeah.
What's to hide? They're like, well, there was a bunch of evil witches practicing dark side magic, creating children or splitting children. And when we tried to save the children, they attacked us and we had to kill them. Like, there's no, you don't need to hide anything. There's no need to hide any of this.
Yeah.
What's the hide? Why do they have to cover up? What is the cover up here?
Yeah. There's so much garbage in here. So many reveals, but not really a reveal at all.
Okay.
So
Okay, let's go through it, I guess.
okay, we're on scene 1 here.
Okay, scene one is Osha is wearing the Smilo helmet, and for some reason, while she's like wearing the helmet, like she starts freaking out. And when what's his name? When Jason Mendoza
Smilo,
tries
yeah,
when he
Smilo
tries
Ren.
to when the actual Smilo tries to take the helmet off her, like her force power is so great that he can't, because suddenly this person who has shown to have like very little affinity with the force earlier suddenly is super powerful for no reason
Yes,
whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. The amazing power that this person possesses is what everyone is after, though we never really find out where this power comes from or why. This is
Right.
this is OSHA, right?
This is Osha. Yes.
Right, yeah. So OSHA is the super powerful one that nobody gets. Oh, keep in mind OSHA was trained as a Jedi. Okay, so it'd be nice to have some of this super power when she was actually training to be a Jedi
Yes.
instead of just mysteriously appearing. She's a
Afterwards. Yeah.
mechanic putting out space fires, right?
Right. Well, and earlier in the series, she explicitly tries to use the force to like in the first episode, she tries to use the force to grab a little remote or something when she's trying to get out of prison, and she it doesn't work.
Yeah,
She
she
can't
can't
do it.
do it. Yeah.
Right. And then in the episode when they're in the forest with the bugs, she's like, I can sense the energy again for no reason, right? She didn't do anything. She didn't meditate, nothing. She just I could sense the things of the force again. And now that she put that helmet on for like 2 seconds and she's like, oh, I'm like fucking Anakin. My powers are unmatched.
Yeah,
And I'm also evil now.
yeah, look, that's another huge problem with this episode. It seems as though the Sith and the Jedi are completely interchangeable. Because he's like, oh, you have to train with someone. Keep in mind, she's already fucking trained with the
Yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
It's so stupid.
Well, they should have like, and it's so dumb because the way it should have been done is they should have established that she still had, force powers in the beginning, like minor force powers in the beginning, because she trained with a Jedi. And then every episode they get a little stronger, a little stronger, a little stronger, right?
Well, and they're getting stronger as she's turning to the dark side, but there's this moral
Yes.
conundrum. Like, oh my God,
Right.
I'm getting so powerful, but I am dipping sort of into evil here.
See, oh
Right?
my God. This goes back to when like we were saying this how the show should have functioned. That now, okay. This could
That
have
is
been
a good
interesting too.
episode. Yeah.
This could have been interesting. Like, so she's like trained to be a Jedi, and she's kind of like third rate. She kind of like, whatever. And as she's investigating into this like crime that the Jedi are covering up, and she's kind of like getting mad about it, and the more emotional she gets about it, the more powerful she starts to become. Because
Yes.
then she actually has that temptation in the dark side because she's like, oh, I've been a third rate Jedi my whole life. And suddenly now, when I get angry, when I start using these alternate avenues to the force, suddenly I gain more power. Boom, suddenly she has a motivation.
Right. And then your eighth episode is like an episode where she's super conflicted. Am I going to turn to the whole thing is structured around is May going to, or is Osha going to turn to the dark side, right? She's
Yes.
fighting it the whole way. And you're invested in that story, but none of that is in this, none at all. So I
No.
want to point out, okay, so Smilo Ren is reaching out to get the helmet off her. She's so powerful, but he does the black eyes thing, which has been set up as something that the witches do, right? So you're like,
Yes.
okay, someone is controlling him, and
Or
then
like
it
in
never comes up again. Who is controlling him in this scene?
no one. It
Well, then
makes no
why are
sense.
his eyes turning black?
I don't know.
That's a clear setup for someone controlling him, right?
I think it was supposed to be that like so the black eyes is like someone's invading your mind, and I guess it's supposed to be that
Yes, who's
Osha.
invading his mind?
I guess it was supposed to be Osha so powerful that just automatically she invaded his mind just when he tried to take the helmet off of her.
Okay, well, horrible filmmaking because it's completely unclear what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then
There's
OSHA says,
Go ahead.
so then OSHA says that the reason she was like freaking out is that she saw a force vision, and in the force vision, she saw May killing a Jedi, no, killing Soul specifically with her hand, like force choking him. She was holding the lightsaber in one hand and was using the force in her hand to kill Soul.
Right.
And then Smilo's like, "That's a vision of the future that will come to pass."
Well, he does say like the future's not set in stone, right? Or he says that, or she says that.
He says, "This is the future you saw.
Spoiler
She
alert.
can she can kill with no weapon." And it's funny because they say that like it's like a big deal. She can kill with no weapon. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what the Jedi do. They have the Force. Like, that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we saw
okay.
this in the first movie with Darth Vader.
Yes.
Force choking people.
Yes. And
Yes.
then she says, but the future isn't fixed as he walks away and says, let's see. She says, I can still stop her. So she thinks she's gonna go to wherever her sister is to stop her from killing Soul. That's what she thinks the
Right.
vision is. Yeah.
Yeah. But spoiler alert,
Right.
OSHA actually kills Soul. The
Yes,
same
she
way in the
actually saw
vision. Yeah.
she saw a vision of herself killing Soul. Which, by the way, how did she confuse herself with May? Because she's been like in the vision, I saw May killing Soul, and she was wearing the exact same outfit I was wearing. It's like, oh, okay, oops. Like I thought we were just accessorizing together or something.
This show often mistakes stupidity for intrigue.
Hmm. Yes. So then,
Okay.
but then this scene still doesn't make sense because then as she says, "Okay, I'm gonna go find where May is, and I'm gonna stop her from killing Soul," and then Smilo says, "With what ship? I'm taking my ship." And then Osha's like, "Yeah, but you don't know where my sister is, so we have to go together."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Dumb.
well, I'm like, oh, why doesn't he just try to like rip the information out of her mind with the Force, as he's been shown to do
Because they can't
already?
hold hands at the end if that happens.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's a lot of fighting in here too that is completely boring because you don't necessarily know. You're like, why are these characters fighting one another? Like what?
Yes.
He has had no relationship with Soul whatsoever. Smilo has had no relationship with Soul whatsoever. Why is he
Yeah,
fighting him?
why does Smilo want her to kill those Jedi?
Yeah.
Like, is it just part of her training? But if it was just part of her training, why would he then kill the Wookiee Jedi? He should just been like, "Oh, you failed your training. That was just part. That was just for you." Like, why does he care at all about killing any of those Jedi?
Yeah, it's never resolved.
No. You know
Yeah.
what else is not
It's
resolved? How did May? So after like the Coven explodes and May survives falling down the pit, okay, and she's like, "I made it to this tree." How did she ever get off the planet?
yeah. How did she actually meet Smilo?
Or how did she do anything? She was literally the only person alive on the planet. Everyone else is dead. She's like 8. I don't think she knows how to pilot a starship. I don't even know if they had a starship. How did she get off that planet?
Yeah. Dumb.
Okay,
Dumb.
very dumb. Okay, so then I guess Smilo, for no reason, decides he would take Osha with her. And then the next scene is, let's see. The
The
next
next
scene
scene
is
is
Soul talking
to May, yeah.
to May. Yes.
And
Yes.
May is going to use Pip. This is another thing that's completely annoying. Now Pip is May's sidekick.
Yeah.
It's
A little
just
bit, yeah.
like it's just like what? She's adopted May's sidekick now for
Yes.
apparently no reason.
Well, she like reprogrammed him or wiped his memory, and
Right. To
now
be
it's
Dark
her.
Pip, yes.
The Bay Dark. Yes. You're right.
But this character has not really had a relationship with a robot. Now they do. All of a sudden. It's
Yeah. Why
weird.
do we care? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be the cute character that they're gonna sell all the toys off of. Oh,
No.
don't get me
No.
started on Basil either. Oh
Oh
my
God, Jesus.
God.
Right. So then Soul and Osher just kind of like argue about whose fault it was that like all the witches died. And she's like, "You killed my mom." And he's like, "You started a fire and locked everyone in." Which is like, that's a pretty good counter, right? You locked
But
everyone in and
only,
started a
but she's
fire.
like an 8-year-old.
Yes.
People generally think 8-year-olds are not responsible for their dumb shit they do.
You know what? That's a good point too. Yeah. That's a good
Like,
point.
how do you blame an 8-year-old? You
But
started a fire in the backyard that burned the house down.
but
So
then also
therefore
that
I'm going to beat you.
but then also the fire, well, I don't know. I think the fire is supposed to have killed some of them, like off screen,
Oh yeah,
but then
Trinity killed them all.
Trinity killed most of them. Yeah, Trinity. But it's like this the conflict in this is so fucking dumb. Why does he never say there's no point in this episode, okay, where Soul says, "Your mom was turning into a smoke demon and melting you with the force. I saved your life."
Right. Yeah, that
Why
would be
doesn't
a
he
good
say that?
counter. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what was happening. Or actually, spoiler, we never learn what the fuck she was doing. We
No, we
never
don't.
ever know what she was doing at all.
Yeah.
So why is everyone in the show acting like, why is Soul acting like, why is everyone in the show acting like she was going to do something good? She turned into a smoke demon and started melting her child. I don't know what that does. He's completely justified in stabbing her. That looks
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And he
She was
never brings
killing
it
you.
up. Yes. She never said like, "Oh, I was gonna use the force to like teleport Osha and May like to safety or something." Like, there's literally no what. Why didn't they do that? It would have been so simple. It would have been so simple if she's like, "No, I was using the force to like teleport them to safety, and you killed me." It just looks spooky. Like, why do they not have that scene? That was the scene that they needed to explain any of this.
Yeah. Why doesn't May come out and say, look, she does that all the time? That's how we go to the store. That's how we go to the store together. Jesus.
That is like a Family Guy cutaway to like, "Mom, I need some ice cream." She's like, "I'll go to the
She does
store."
the demon thing. Ah.
That's a demon store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All this is completely stupid.
So then there's this other thing too that happens in that same scene where, and this keeps happening, and it's so stupid. It makes no sense, and they don't explain it. Soul keeps saying this. He keeps saying, "You and Osha are not twins."
Yes.
Okay. You're not, he said it like 5 times. "You are not twins. You are not twins." And I'm like, okay, does
You
that,
are not even sisters.
you're not even sisters, right? And I'm like, okay, so I'm keep expecting the only thing that makes sense, the only line that would come after that makes sense is he's saying somehow your mom took one person that was born and like split them into two different like entities, right?
Yes.
But he never says it. It's so weird. He just keeps saying, "You're not twins, you're not sisters," but then he never finishes like the thought. So you're like, "Well, I don't know what that means. What do you mean?"
Yeah. There's even a line where he says, now that I know May is alive, I can prove that you guys were split by dark magic or
Or
something
that
like
you
that.
were a virgins in the force,
Yeah. But
which we don't
never,
know what the fuck that means either.
never are we explained the technicalities of how their existence explains that or how he even knows that.
Yeah. They never
Yeah.
explain what that means. Well, first of all, they never explain what a
Yeah.
virgins
The
in the force is.
ramifications of it.
Right.
Exactly.
We never know what a virgins of the force is. Never explained to the audience. Never explained to the audience why the two of them existing would be proof of that. Never explained why does that matter or who cares? Like, because then later in the episode, he's like, "Oh, I only covered it up because there was no proof that you guys were virgins in the force," which doesn't even make sense and is actually not why they covered it up, according to the flashback.
Yeah. They covered it up because a bunch of people died.
Well, because Trini was like, "You need to cover it up so that you can train Osha, so it's not all, so it's worth it."
Yeah. But the people dying is what they were covering up.
Yeah, we assume. So
Yes.
then, May escapes. May
Yeah.
escapes and she runs away.
Another
Yeah.
one, just as Soul is going to give May vital information, she
Yes.
stops him.
She zaps him with a little thing. Yes.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. And then it's weird too. So she runs through the escape pod. Okay. And as she's escaping, she says, "See you in hell, Jedi." Have
Yeah.
they ever referenced hell in Star Wars?
Not that I know of.
Does hell even exist in Star Wars? I was like, wait, what? Hell? I've never heard someone talk about hell in Star Wars. Do they even believe in hell?
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was
Soul
like
should say,
strange.
"Bitch, I'll be a force ghost."
Yeah, he's like, he should have been like, see me where? I've never been to that planet. So then she jumps into an escape pod. Um, and this scene. Okay, this scene makes no sense either. No, nothing about this show makes any sense. So she jumps into escape pod, and then he just chases after her in like the big ship, and she even says like, "Oh, I wish the little escape pod had hyperdrive." How did she expect to get away from him in the
Yeah.
escape pod?
Who knows? Like, if she doesn't know that it has hyperdrive.
Why would you like? It seemed like she why would you think that a tiny little escape pod from a not like his ship isn't a giant ship? So why would you expect that some little dinky escape pod from his like medium-sized ship would be able to somehow escape the main ship
Yeah,
at all?
he just chase after you.
Yes.
But she jumps
It,
into the rings like she's got a plan. She's
but
got
even
the
that
ring
doesn't make any
plan.
sense. So like, okay, so you think the plan would be like, oh, maybe she sabotaged the big ship, and then like I sabotage like Jack Sparrow. Remember when Jack Sparrow steals you remember in the first Parts of the Caribbean, an actually good movie, okay? Jack Sparrow is like he wants the ship. So instead of stealing the ship he wants, he goes to the big ship
The
that he
Black
can't actually
Pearl.
yeah, he goes well no, but even before the Black Pearl, he goes to the big ship in the harbor that he can't actually sail because it requires more than two people. And then when all the people on the ship he wants like go over to the big ship to stop him,
He
he does a
steals the little
switcheroo,
ship. Yep.
goes to the little ship and is like suckers, and they're like, oh well, we'll just go after him in the big ship. He's disabled the rudders. We can't actually go after him. Oh, very smart. Jack Sparrow. And the guy goes, wow, he really is a good pirate, right? Like that's the maneuver. You got to do something to like to disable the big ship.
Sitch, how is Soul gonna get on Brendock if that all that happens?
He could fix it by the like he could eventually fix it, I guess, and then follow. Well, she actually goes on Brendock by accident. She didn't mean to go there. Where was she even going? What was her plan?
She's going inside these Saturn rings.
So she goes inside these rings. But by the way, this ring doesn't. He says she says that the ship he's in is too big to follow us. But why? What does that even mean?
It's gonna get hit by too much debris.
But they're all getting hit by the debris, same amount of debris. Wouldn't the bigger ship be better?
Basil goes full traitor.
Well, and even wait before we get into Basil going full trader. Also, the rings are so thin that it's like, why does he even? He could just fly over them and look down and be like, "I'm just gonna follow you."
Yeah, open up the laser cannons.
Like, so in Star Trek, they have all these things where like, oh, there's like a crazy nebula cloud, and the ship goes into it, and then they go into it, and they're like, our sensors don't work in this cloud, and then people hide from each other, right? They're so lazy. They're so incompetent. They don't even do that. She just goes into like a little rings on a planet that you could like just visually see the ship still in there. And Soul could just fly over it with either his scanners or his eyes and just look at where her ship is and just follow her. She doesn't even have to go into the ring system.
Yeah, he could do that easily. But look, he's a dipshit and he actually goes into the rings.
Yeah, so he goes into the rings. Yes. And then for this is so weird. He goes into the rings and then he has her like on a targeting thing. And by the way, we don't know what this targeting thing means. Is it like gonna blow her up? Is it going to shoot out her engines? Is it like a big tow cable that's gonna like lock under her ship? We have no clue what this little targeting thing is gonna do. And then for no reason that's ever explained in this entire show, Basil, the stupid fucking gopher, decides to sabotage the tracking system in the ship so that he can't do it.
Yeah.
Why does Basil do this?
Whose side is Basil on? It's
I
impossible to tell.
is this gonna be a season two reveal? Basil's really like gonna like walk up and he's gonna be like he's gonna run up under Darth Plagueis and be like Darth Plagueis will be like, good, my minion, my true number two Sith Lord counterpart apprentice, Basil. And Basil's gonna be like, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, I can't stand Basil. Basil's completely ridiculous. I don't. Wouldn't it be nice if we knew whether Soul wanted to kill her or What does he want to do with her?
I have no clue. I'm assuming he wanted to take her alive because he wanted to take her in alive to somehow prove that there was a virgin on Brendok
Yeah, I guess that's it.
or something. But why did Basil sabotage the ship? And why
Hmm.
did Soul never react to it? He didn't turn around and be like, Basil, what the fuck? And then like force crush him or something.
I don't even know that he saw Basil do it.
I think he did. He
Basil
turned
seemed
around.
to scoot
No,
off,
he
and
he sees him. No, he sees him. He turns around and he sees him do it.
look at
And
that.
then he
There he
runs
is.
away and he never comments on it or does anything about it. He just sees him rip out the guts of the ship for no reason.
Right. This is ridiculous because they both end up crashing on this planet, which I guess is Brendok, right?
Yes. And then it's hilarious because so you're like, okay, so I guess Basil was like trying to save May from getting shot, but then him ripping out the thing makes Soul's ship like lose control and slap into May's ship, which causes that to lose control, which causes it to crash into to Brendok. So Basil, for no reason, by ripping out the targeting system or whatever he did, could have made May die.
Makes no sense.
And we don't know why he did it. Okay. Storytelling. Storytelling. Yes. Things
And look,
just
Basil
happen.
comes back later and they use him as a bloodhound again.
Yes.
It's like, oh, get real. What is this? What is the purpose of this character?
I don't
I
know. And
love
and this
I love her helmet in this. May's helmet is just so Michael Dukakis, like ridiculous. She's got this
it looks really silly.
incredibly giant helmet on.
Well, it's like because her hair is so big,
Safety first.
right? Her hair is so big that like it wouldn't stay on. Like normally, if you were a fighter pilot and you had like a space helmet, you couldn't have hair that big.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's just her hair is so big. She has to put on this like goofy, oversized helmet that doesn't even do anything. But you
It's
know what?
so
They
ridiculous.
should have just had her not wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Like, why does she even feel like she needs what is that helmet supposed to
Imagine
let's
Han
okay.
Solo in this helmet.
What is that helmet supposed to do?
Well, she is going to crash on a planet here soon, but I
Yeah,
don't,
but
that
it
wasn't
doesn't
the
look like
intention.
that helmet does not look like it's strapped on. It looks like she just like popped it on her head.
Set
So
it
she
on her
put
head. Yeah, no
so
chin strap. Look at that.
so we are you telling me that May so it's not a helmet. Obviously, the helmet doesn't look like it could give you any oxygen. The little blast shield doesn't look like it's like a screen or anything, or even like a blast shield that would do anything for light. So am I supposed to believe that May, the person who's like a murderer and a serial killer, is like, oh, I'm getting into my escape pod. I better put on my helmet. Safety first.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Should have just had her just go off without it.
All right,
Okay.
so they crash land on Brendok,
Yes.
which is just so happens to be the planet where the Witch Covenant was, right?
Well, I think that's. Well, actually, wait a minute. Why
Yeah,
the
I don't
fuck?
remember from the previous episode why they're even so close to Brendok.
Wait, you're right. That's a massive plot hole. Okay, so Soul's motivation, what she says in this episode, is that he wants to bring May and Osha back to Coruscant to prove that there's a virgins, right? That is his motivation.
Sure. We'll go with that.
So so then why the fuck is he going to Brendok at all?
Well,
Why did
look, he's doing this thing with May where he's telling her the story of Brendok in space, and then she escapes and he chases after her, and it just so happens that they're right next door to Brendok because they crash land into Brendok.
right, but like no, because remember he's at that planet where the Wookiee Jedi is. And
That's
then
that's not Brendok, right?
no, I know. Before he's at the Wookiee planet, the Jedi with the jungle where the Sith guy kills everyone.
Right.
And then
He
they're like,
leaves with May.
oh,
Oh, you're right. He leaves with May.
right. They're like, oh, Soul turned
They
off his
abandon all the
transponder
bodies.
beacon for no reason, which by the way, we don't know why he did that. We have literally no clue why Soul turned off his transponder beacon. It's never explained. That action is
Right.
never explained whatsoever. So he turns off his transponder beacon and then he leaves right as the reinforcements show up. And then he goes to Brendok for no reason and then turns back his transponder beacon back on for no
Right.
reason. Why? What is happening? Why
He
didn't he
couldn't
just go to Coruscant?
he couldn't tell her the story of Brendock without being close enough to crash land on Brendock.
Oh, he's got to be like in the he's like, listen, I gotta.
Exactly.
He's like, listen. He's like, listen, May. To set the vibes for this story, I got to be in
I
the same
know.
atmosphere, the same system as Brendock. Okay, to tell you the story about Brendock.
Yeah, there's no reason any of these fights need to take place on Brendock. They don't need anything from that place.
No, no, and he doesn't need to go there for any reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Was it even supposed to be implied that the flashback from the episode was him telling her anything? I don't even know if that was supposed to be what was happening.
Like the
I think he was
last
just
episode was a flashback. I mean, I think that's what it was supposed to be implied, but it really wasn't implied. Like this episode, we just drop back in, and it's not like the flashback episode ever happened. They're just talking.
yes, and all he talks about is the virgins. He's not like, and that's why I stabbed your ghost mom,
Right,
right? Like
exactly.
something like that. Hmm. Okay, so then the next scene is we're on Coruscant again with the worst Jedi on the planet, the bald green haired lady
Right, yeah.
who is evil, I guess.
Oh, she's totally evil. Yeah. She's like
But
the Palpatine figure in this thing.
well, we don't even know why. So at no point in this, no, at no point in this did they ever explain what her motivation is. Is she actually evil? Is she just corrupted and thinks she's protecting the Jedi? Why is she doing literally any of the things that she's doing? We don't know. We literally don't know what her motivation is at all. Even though she's a central bad person in the show who's doing bad things, I guess, as part of the theme of Ajab, all Jedi are bastards.
It's your favorite scene with this
What?
guy from the Senate.
Yes, this guy from the Senate shows up and he says, Ajab. And
Yeah.
she says, no, not Ajab. And he says, fuck you, Ajab.
Right.
That's it. That's the scene. Is
You
there
guys are
anything?
corrupt. Yeah.
He says all that. It's so it's like the most obvious shoehorning in of a political message. It's like you're sitting here in your car and you see a shoehorn the size of Godzilla descend from the clouds and like shove the politics of the show, like destroying the entire city. It's like, did you know that sometimes people in power, like the Jedi or police, are corrupt and need to be like externally reviewed? Did you know that, audience member? I bet you didn't know that. Bye. And then the shoehorn flies away as it's destroyed the city beneath it.
Yeah. Corruption could exist here. But I mean, she literally is corrupt. We know that she's corrupt. So
We don't know why.
the thing is, we're not really. I mean, I don't. I don't think of motion pictures. I think of emotion pictures. Like
Mm-hmm.
what are we supposed to be feeling here? Are we supposed to be worried she's going to get caught? Are we on his side? Are we rooting for him to weed out the corruption? Like we know nothing about this character that they just introduced in the 8th episode that comes to talk to this woman. We don't know her motivation. Like we really don't even know if she's good or bad. We know nothing about, we know that she gets hyper sick when she travels. Okay.
That's
Doesn't make
important
her
information.
doesn't make her very endearing to me.
Right.
So what,
Right.
am I rooting for her to get caught? Am I rooting for her to keep the secret? No. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I
What
don't
am
know
I supposed to
anything of.
feel?
Yeah, exactly. So this is a huge problem. And I think you're exactly right in the shoehorning in of the political message. You're supposed to be a progressive and you're supposed to go, "Oh my God, this corruption. This corruption. Oh no, it's terrible."
I guess.
It's
Like
just like the real world. The Jedi are just like the police. The
you're
corrupt police.
you're completely correct, and that's a really good way of putting it. The emotion picture. Because you have this scene with these two characters, and we don't know enough about either of the characters, or even we don't even know enough information about the plot to know what we're supposed to feel. I have no clue what I'm supposed to feel when I'm watching the scene.
Yeah.
You're right. You're completely correct. Am I supposed to want this guy to uncover this plot? Am I supposed to want her to cover it up? What am I supposed to think in this scene? I don't know. I'm just sitting here like I don't have enough information to make a judgment about anything
Yeah. You
except
can't
that it's
play the
cringy.
game.
That's all I know is that it's super cringe.
It is super cringe.
That,
Oh man.
I want to read this guy's speech because it's so lame. Okay. He says, I think the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power posing as a religion,
Oh
a
yeah.
delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable. And then she says, we don't control the Force. And he says, not the Force, your emotions. You project an image of goodness and restraint, but it's only a matter of time before one of you perhaps, and when, not if that happens. I'm sorry, if one it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. And when, not if that happens, who will be strong enough to stop him? Or her. He didn't say, he should have said her.
Yeah, this is totally all Jedi are bastards. That's exactly
Yes.
what they're going for.
And
Look,
then,
you
yeah.
you claim to protect and serve the community, but we all know you're just one George Floyd away from a cover up.
Yes. And his like whole speech was so, I'm like, well, okay, well, let's say like theoretic. First of all, he's not even, this is actually, his little speech is like super insulting to not just, like, he's basically attacking the entire concept of the Jedi in Star Wars as a whole property, right?
Yes, yeah.
So if you're like a big Star Wars fan, like that speech is like hyper insulting because he's basically calling into question even the notion that you can control your emotions effectively, which is kind of silly and I guess is pretty leftist. You can't control your emotions. What's wrong with you? Who would ever think to control their emotions? That's a ridiculous idea. But but then even his question is like, oh, well, what if one of the Jedi snaps? Are you going to be able to stop them? Or who's going to stop them? It's like, well, okay, if one person who's been Jedi trained becomes evil, I mean, there's a whole temple of Jedi to stop them, isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, that's the whole point of fighting
Okay.
this. This happens regularly, right? The Sith come out and they fight them.
I mean, I don't know if that
Someone
happens
turns
regularly,
to the
but
dark side, and
right. Like what he's saying doesn't even make sense because it's like, okay, well, if you didn't have people that were training in the light side, and then you did have a dark side person, who no one would be able to stop them. You literally need to have light side people to fight and stop the dark side people.
this 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 episode has the most incendiary ending imaginable. Like it is so fucking spit, kick, piss, shit right in your face if you're a Star
Right.
Wars fan. Like
Yes.
the entire Star Wars franchise is basically sullied by the
Yes.
final scene of this. It's in
What do you?
such a way, like I'm telling you, it's
Yes. Well,
just,
we'll listen. We'll let that hang there.
it's
People that haven't seen it, right?
horrifying.
That'll be like,
Yes.
get ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Get
Get ready.
ready. Get ready. Get ready for the absolute worst thing you could ever imagine.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So continuing here. So this guy, look, I've been kind of interested in this Acolyte because just the level of screw up is fascinating to me because I'm watching all of these videos. Sitch and I are not really big Star Wars lore people, but a lot of people have YouTube channels and they obviously know the lore far better than us. So I'm watching those videos and I'm going, man, they had so much interesting material to work with here. And it was completely wasted on these idiots. Like, so people have been talking about this a black actor playing this guy here, and they've been postulating who this actor was going to play because he's on the IMDb and all these different
Is he a
characters that
fan?
he could
I'm
be.
not, I don't think I've seen him before.
Yeah. So we finally get the reveal here, and it's some dude in the Senate. Like this guy, I'll watch the lore videos tomorrow. I mean, this might be some character that has some rich backstory in the books or something like that, which I'm always disappointed in because none of that stuff is on screen. Like I don't know this guy. I don't give a
Right.
fuck about this guy. I know nothing about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest problem with this is all these characters have all these rich backstories, but the writers are not good enough to actually put those on screen. Instead of putting some story that is actually some scene that is actually going to give us information that's useful so we understand these people's motivations. They're telling us about, that she gets hyper sick, which is just ancillary to the whole conflict of the story, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's only an important setup if there's a scene where she has to catch somebody and she's conflicted about getting in the ship, right? There's this big moment where she's like, "Oh my god, can I do it? I haven't been able to do it all the entire episode. Am I going to overcome my fear?" Right?
Hmm.
You don't see any of that. So why is it
No,
even in here? Why is it
I don't
in
know.
here?
Who knows?
It's in here so that you can know that character is the one from the books that nobody knows about.
Okay.
So
Right. Right.
stupid. Yeah.
That actor plays Martian Manhunter in like a bunch of the DC stuff, like Supergirl and Arrow and The Flash.
Okay.
So there you go.
Look, it has to be, obviously, this has to be a black actor, has to be talking to a white woman
Well,
or
the Green
a
Lady, but
green woman.
yes,
Yeah.
she's white coated. Okay,
Yeah. About
about the police.
institutional power and
Yes,
corruption, right?
yes, in a way that doesn't even make sense. Like, if you want to write like a show, okay, with very progressive politics, and you want to make some analogy to the Jedi, like being the police or something, first of all, I wouldn't like that. I think that'd be stupid. But if you want to do it, you could do it in a way that at least makes sense,
Or that was
right?
entertaining, that had real conflict and character development.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The
This
bad
doesn't make any
lieutenant,
sense.
right?
Yes, this makes no sense. His speech he gives her makes no sense. It's so lazy. It's like this person is like, I want people to have an emotion, but I have no clue how to get them there. Let's just have things happen in like a random order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, okay.
It's funny that the writer is a woman, right? No,
I
normally women
know.
are experts at emotional manipulation.
That's what I
So, I
thought.
mean, that's basically what storytelling is.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Jeez.
Very sad. Very sad.
Okay.
But they
So
do
the next, yeah.
they do touch on, and I've heard this a bunch of times in the progressive circles, that they all want to say it's institutional corruption, it's rotten to the core, and they get super pissed off when people turn to, oh, it was just one bad apple, right? It was Derek Chauvin, right?
Right.
It's not
Right.
policing is ultimately corrupt. It's Darren Chauvin. Is it Derek Chauvin?
Yes.
This guy, this one guy is just the problem and the police are just fine. You just got to weed out the bad apples, right?
Hmm.
And in this, that is literally what happens. They say Soul is just like a bad apple, okay? It's Soul. Soul did everything, okay? We aren't corrupt to the core. It was all Soul.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
Soul is probably the most innocent one in this. It wasn't his idea. He wanted to go turn himself in immediately. It wasn't even
Right.
his fucking idea.
Well, I mean, not
He went
okay. Well,
along with it, but it was Trinity's idea.
yeah, his motivation, man. No one's motivation in the show makes sense at any point in the show. You don't understand why anything's happening, including
Right.
why did Soul not turn himself in, or why do they feel compelled? As I said in the beginning, why do they feel compelled to hide any of this in the first place?
Yes. Yeah.
They could have very easily just said what happened and been completely justified in what happened. Like, oh, there. Well, I guess the only thing that would be not justified would be the guy who ran off in the first place to go capture them when the Jedi Council said not to. But then even that, you just say, well, he got mind controlled by the lady, and it like fucked with his head, and that's why he did what he did, right? Like, there's a million ways to cover this up. This is so like it's so nonsensical.
Yeah. I mean, they've been talking about how, they want to play with complex themes and nuance and all that stuff
There's
and all
nothing
the interviews.
complex in this show.
I know. Look, I totally know. Look, and even this, like the way to make this work where she's trying to save the Jedi, and they don't even have this. Like, you need a scene where the Jedi are clearly doing good in the world, right? The big scene where they save somebody, they save a
Right.
bunch of people. Like, you see, oh my God, the Jedi are good and doing good in the world. And if the Senate closes them down, then you're conflicted. You're like, well, they fucked up a little bit here, but they did so much good here, right? You're like,
You're right. This is okay. Let's talk about not being amateur garbage filmmaking here. Okay, the scene you need for that character for the Green Lady's introduction, instead of doing the prequels level, let's introduce our Jedi character wandering around a temple talking to each other. Very boring, right?
Right. Yeah.
There should have been a scene where she's like fighting off marauding pirates, saving a village of children. You see, she
Yes.
she's like blocking the bullets from the laser bullets from hitting the children. She like grabs an orphan child, like jumps out of a burning building and saves them. They're like, oh my god, thank you.
Yes.
The Jedi are so
Yes.
amazing, right? And the little girl's like, I want to be a Jedi just like you. And she's like, you can one day, maybe, if you have the right midichlorian count. But so,
Exactly.
right, you
Exactly.
see her doing something very heroic, and it's like, oh, Jedi are very important. And then you have a scene later where she talks about, like, you had that scene early on with the
Yes.
senator.
Yeah.
It like early in the show, and her response actually makes sense, where she's like, the Jedi are like doing something for like the good of protecting everyone and the innocent and truth and order in the galaxy, blah 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 blah. So you kind of get like her mode, like what she believes, right? She lays out her, you see her do something heroic, she lays out her core principles, and then she's confronted with like the, oh, should I cover up this crime in order to protect the greater good of Jedi Order, or do I do, like, quote, the right thing and let the truth out, even if it risks the Jedi Order, falling apart or becoming weakened? Right?
Yeah.
That's how
And
you set all this shit up.
yes, and then the stakes are the village of children that were saved. Like the next
Yes.
village of children may not be saved because of this little hiccup.
Right.
Yeah, then you've got some real stakes. This series, none of that.
Yeah.
No stakes.
And you
We're
can have her
like
be, yeah.
showing Smilo Ren get naked and take a bath. It's like,
Yeah. That was the real
why?
important scene there. Yeah.
Why?
We need to have,
Why?
for the women, for all the stupid, thirsty women on social media who go, oh my God, hot
Look,
Smilo.
you could have Yord doing saving the village of children, and like his fucking shit gets ripped off as he's running away.
You see
He's
him
like,
running through the fire, holding a child in his hand with his like bare chest. He's like, ah, oh, the fire singed all my chest hairs off. Look how shiny my chest is.
they could be on a freezing planet, and he takes off all his clothes to give it to the children. He's
There
out
you
there in a
go.
Speedo saving
There you
people.
go.
Look, you could still
Exactly.
do that stuff. Do more than one thing in one scene, right?
There you go. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
No.
Anyway. All right. So this crazy scene that is just basically designed to preach to us, that is more about what's going on in our real world than it is about what's going on in this fictitious world of Star Wars.
And it doesn't even, yeah, it's not even analogous, and it hasn't been set up to be analogous in Star Wars.
Right. And then here's the
Someone sent me a meme that might be relevant to what we were just talking about. I sent you.
oh no, okay.
Like, I'll
And
bring
then
it up.
I'll bring it up in a
Yeah.
second.
Okay.
And then we have then we go back to Smilo's planet, right?
Yes.
Which is I believe this is where this
This
is
is
Luke's
Luke's planet.
planet. Yeah,
Yeah, with the
exactly.
where he drank the milk. Yeah.
These
That's
little baby
weird.
things are the things that grow up to be the titty milk, the green titty milk
I don't know
monsters.
if they're like they grow up to be them or they evolve to become them. I have no clue.
It's not that, I mean, it's not millions of years later, right?
That's why I'm confused by it. Like, it doesn't seem like they should evolve to
No,
be it,
these
but we
are
don't.
babies. These
But
are
why do we
baby
never? There
six.
shouldn't. If they're babies, shouldn't we see an adult form of it, and then you see the little baby form running around too?
Look, they couldn't
They
they
couldn't
couldn't
afford to have
afford
the
the big
adult,
baby. Yeah,
the big tits. They can afford that.
they, they they
Why
had to
would they
spend a
choose
lot
this
of money
planet? That
on
Yeah.
sexual sensitivity coordinators, so they
Okay.
didn't have the big money for the special effects.
So instead of having scenes establishing Green Lady's principles or the Jedi principles or something, we have a scene that is literally pointless and doesn't need to exist, because the previous scene between it's a scene between Osha and Soul. The previous scene is Osha saying, "I know where my sister is," and saying, "So you have to take me." And Soul saying, "Okay, I agree." This scene is that scene again. That's all it
It's
is.
not
It's just
Soul,
that
it's
scene again.
Smilo,
I'm sorry,
Smilo Ren.
Smilo Ren. Yes,
Yeah,
Osha telling Smilo Ren, "You need to take me where my sister is." And then it's the same scene. It's literally just the same scene. Nothing new happens in the scene,
right,
except one new thing happens. Okay.
right.
The
Oh,
new thing is, you wonder, why does Smilo Ren have such a nicely fitted outfit for her that makes her look like an evil Sith lady.
Are those clothes that you gave to her?
I guess where else did she get him? She didn't pull him out of the Force.
Oh yeah.
Suddenly she's walking around wearing a very fashionable dark Sith lady outfit, completely fitted for her size.
This
And
was
this
for my
guy,
former Jedi. My former Jedi Master wore this. Ooh, it
yeah,
looks like it'll fit you
yes.
perfectly.
Like look, like it's so silly because you have Soul, who whenever we see him, he's wearing like really like rags. Okay, he's wearing like a shirt with like the arms cut off and like a poncho. Like it's very Spartan, very sparse. And then she's walking out with this like perfectly fucking cut, like tight black leather outfit with like a very fashionable hood. And I'm like, what's happening here? Where'd she get that?
This
Why does
is
she have that?
we're supposed to be milking the sexual tension here between these two. Like the feeling you're supposed to feel here is, are they gonna fuck? That's what's
Okay.
going on in this scene,
Is that
which is
the
just weird for Star Wars. But
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
with Han and Leia, you're like, are they going to get married and have a family? Right
Right,
here, you're
right.
like, are they just gonna fuck? I don't. I'm not anticipating these people getting married and having
Mm-hmm.
like starting a family together, right?
Right. Nor
This
do
is
I
like more like
care.
a Sith one night stand thing.
Yes. So
Anyway,
then
yeah, we go to this is the Darth Plagueis.
I guess?
This is
Question
definitely
mark?
Darth Plagueis. People are
Okay.
gonna say this is Darth Plagueis, but you just have him just like peeping out of a fucking cave, like no context or anything.
Yes. Why? Who? How?
We don't know if he knows these people. We don't know if
Does Milo know he's theirs? That he's Milo's master?
yeah.
What's
I mean, this
happening?
is
He's
the
just
last episode. This is I mean, we're supposed to be wrapping things up here. We're supposed to be paying off all those setups, right?
no. You know what's going on here? So Darth Plague is here. He's been spying on Smilo Ren when he gets all naked and walks into the ocean. Okay. He's all like, yes, good. Take off all your clothes and get into the ocean. And then when OSHA shows up, he's like, oh, that fucking home-wrecking bitch. Gonna take
Exactly.
away, gonna take away my Smilo boy toy from me. Get that fucking bitch out of here.
That would be far more interesting than anything that's gone on in this Star Wars property.
Yes, Smilo, get naked again. Yeah.
People are going to be so pissed off by this because people were so excited to have Darth Plagueis and understand the context of Darth Plagueis in this story. That's what everyone was talking about on the lore channels. Darth
Mhm.
Plagueis is behind this. Is
Yes.
it there's the rule of two, and Smilo is not really the master, he's really the acolyte, and Darth Plagueis is the master.
Well, you know what?
No, there's no context here.
You know what's funny too? Someone had said this is like a joke, and it's 100%, I guess, confirmed to be true now because of this one. This is what's actually going to piss everyone off because of this one reveal here. So the big thing is supposed to be that like Darth Plagueis and Palpatine, I guess, like use the Force to create Anakin, right?
Right.
And so now this implies that the way that Darth Plagueis learned that is he learned it because he
From the
somehow
Force Witches?
from the lesbian Force witches. Yes, he's like, oh, I learned to create Anakin, the Force prophecy baby, by studying Force witches, lesbian Force witches, make up a couple of twins who aren't actually twins or something, like 200 years ago.
Remember the thread thing? The thread thing just dropped.
You mean
The thread thing never comes up again.
them explaining the Force as a thread?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that didn't mean anything. It literally meant
Yeah.
nothing. Nothing any character says in the show means anything. It's all just garbage. It's gobbledygook to like try to trick people into feeling emotions, but it's so amateurishly written that it can't even trick you into feeling feelings because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, look. Darth Plagueis is a big character that people would like to see involved in this.
Yeah, he
He's
listen,
a
he
peeping
learned.
Tom. He's been
Yeah,
reduced to a fucking peeping Tom.
he's a peeping Tom who learned how to make Anakin by watching forced lesbian witches offspring
I
babies.
look, he's not even on the right planet for that because all that took place on Brendok, and he's on Luke's
No, but
planet.
it's gonna be like okay, so this is set
He's
up
gonna
for season
follow them to
two.
Brendok.
Right. So this is set up for a season two, and which will never come into pass. I mean, I kind of hope it does because that'd be amazing. But and so I bet you in season two, he would like study OSHA to learn how to use the Force to make Anakin. That would be
I
season two.
I hate these people. I really do. I've literally grown to hate Disney Star Wars.
Yes,
Look,
it's
I
pretty
thought
bad.
Baby Yoda was genius. I thought, okay, look, Mandalorian came along, and I thought maybe there's hope.
Hmm.
Maybe they can attract some talented writers to this franchise.
Right.
How wrong I was.
Nope. So
Okay.
then Soul goes to Brendok. He turns on
He
his
crashes
transponder.
on Brendok. He doesn't. He
I don't know. Does he go there? He crashes there. Who knows?
yeah. They both crash on the planet.
And he just leaves Basil on the ship. Even though Basil sabotages the ship, he doesn't be like, "What the fuck, you furry piece of shit? Why did you blow up my ship?" He just like leaves him. He's like, "Oh, whatever." I was like, "What? How do you know that Basil wouldn't just like start trying to like shoot you with the lasers on the ship as soon as you walk out of it or something? Like you don't even know what's going on with that little creature's mind. He could be psycho."
So look, this is another giant plot hole here because Basil's literally on the ship with Soul, right? The Jedi come and they land, and then they get like something for Basil to smell so that he can lead them to Soul. It's like, wouldn't there be things that smelled like Soul all over the fucking ship he was just on?
Was it Soul or was he trying to find May? I don't know who
Uh,
they were trying to find.
May was on the ship with him.
I know. Yeah, I know. They
Okay.
couldn't use the Force to find them. Even
Look,
though Smiler Ren could use the Force to find them,
right.
they need to use Basil to find
They
them.
they have to use the Bloodhound.
Yeah.
Look, and this is the worst character design ever. The way Basil walks, I mean, it looks like he's trying to stop shitting his pants.
I know. It's really bad.
He's doing
Really
this
bad
like
outfit.
I'm shitting my pants shuffle.
Yeah. Right.
It's so it's so weird. So here's Basil looking at him, going away, right?
Yeah.
How much stuff just there in the cockpit smells like Soul.
Yeah, like everything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Green Lady.
Green
Green
Lady. She's like, get a message to someone mysterious. I wonder who that could be. I guess we'll find out at the end of the episode. Right.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, and they go, it's highly unorthodox, which doesn't really make any sense. And I guess we'll talk about that at the end, why it would be unorthodox, because I thought she was like a high-ranking Jedi, but
Right.
okay. And then her super effeminate mega beta male, like
Right.
secretary Jedi comes in. God, I hate this guy. I don't know why. I just don't like him. And he comes in and she's like, get as many Jedi as you can without raising alarm. And he says, you expect a confrontation. And she says, no, a resolution. I'm
Which
like,
is super ironic, right?
what does that even mean? Why would she think that?
Well, all good storytelling in the third act is the resolution,
Yes, of
which
course.
is so when she said resolution, I was like, you bitch. Because
Yeah.
there is absolutely no resolution in
No,
this. Yeah.
to nothing. Yeah. No. So then
So
so
they're all going to go to Brendok.
they're all gonna go to Brendok. And then we have this weird scene where Osha and Smilo are in like a weird ship that has two separate cockpits, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know why the ship is designed that way, but okay. It's not like the speeder thing in the other Star Wars where you had to have like someone shoot the other side or something. But then she just turned and she has the ability somehow from her cockpit to turn off Smilo Ren's cockpit.
Yeah, he's been relegated to bitch in his own ship.
Yeah.
First of all, it's like, oh, it's my ship. I'm in charge here. You know, you're riding with me, and now all of a sudden she's running the show here.
But what is even the point that like that doesn't come into play at all? Like, why didn't they just land the ship there? He already agreed to go with her, I guess. Why did she
Yes,
turn like his cockpit? I'm so confused. What was the point of that?
to show that she's the boss girl, man, and that he
Okay,
needs
I
to shut
guess.
up.
I don't know.
He needs to shut up before she gives him the black eyeballs again.
I mean, I guess it was supposed to be like, oh, once they knew that they were going to Brendok, he wouldn't need her anymore. But super clear, like that whole such a weird, like it's such a non-issue because it's super clear that he's into her in terms of like being a potential apprentice. So that should be his motivation for him taking her. She doesn't need to do all this like nonsense.
Yeah.
So then Soul climbs the giant mountain again, I guess. Because he's like, remember when I had to climb this mountain? And he climbs the mountain to get back inside the temple.
They have to climb the mountain too. It's so
No,
weird.
she fixes the door.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
I thought
I
they
think, doesn't
climbed.
she?
No, I thought
No,
they climbed on the inside.
no, I don't think so. So then Soul follows May, who went back into the temple for some reason, or where her old home is for some reason.
Soul is just kind of wandering around though. What do you mean?
He's yelling, May, May, May.
Oh yeah, because May
Yeah.
crash land on Brendok too.
Yeah, and she went into the most obvious place you'd go to look for her, I guess.
Yeah, why? Why does he even want May?
He
Oh, I
wants to
guess to
bring her
prove.
back
I keep
to prove a
forgetting.
virgins in the forest, which we don't know what that means or
It's
why
so
her
it's so
existence would
unimportant to
prove
the
it.
plot. I
Yeah.
keep actually forgetting
Right.
why he's trying to
Yes.
get her.
Yes. And actually, he doesn't even say that until after. So you don't even know, like, when he's looking for her, you don't know why he's looking for her. He only says that later in the
Oh, you're
episode.
right. Okay.
So yeah, when he's looking for her, you're like, I mean, like, well, when he's looking for her, at first you think maybe he just wants her because she's wanted for murder, right? Like, that's, I assume, the motivation. She killed a bunch of people. She's wanted for murder. And
Hmm.
then it's even more confusing because 2 episodes prior, May was ready to give herself up to the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then she decided not to. And we don't know why. What changed her mind? Why did she change her mind to give herself up?
When the when the characters change their motivation so often, it really is hard to keep focus on what the actual
Yes.
motivation is.
She
Like
was
in a
like,
normal show, you're like, okay, they're constantly working towards solving the murder, right?
right.
Solving the case.
3 episodes ago, she was like, I want to give up and I just want to live with my sister and I'll throw myself at the mercy of the Jedi. And then 2 episodes later, she's like, I'm going to actually pretend to be my sister so I can get information out of Soul. And then 1 episode ago, she's like, I actually don't give a fuck about getting any information out of Soul because he doesn't have any information I need. So I'm just going to run away from him. You're like, what? Why is anything happening? Why did she do any of this?
Yeah, it's funny that May does the switcheroo when she is the one with all the information about Brendok anyway, because she literally saw it.
Yes.
It's dumb.
Yes. So then he's just kind of wandering around looking for her. Then we see she climbed back in through the
Yeah, look,
way that
she
she
doesn't.
fell.
Yeah, she climbs in. She doesn't fix the elevator. She fucking climbs up the elevator or the
No,
where
OSHA
she
does, but
fell.
yeah. No, May climbs in through the way she fell. OSHA fixes the elevator.
Okay, okay. This
Right.
is this is May or this is
May's in the white outfit and OSHA's
okay.
in
There
the
we go. So
black
this is
outfit.
May. Yeah,
Right. So May
May
goes into
climbs
their
up.
old room. Yeah, she goes into their old room, I guess, for sentimental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know why she's walking around any of like what is she trying to do here? She's just trying to hide. Like
Yeah, why is she even back here?
also the
Go because
door's
she
open
crash landed on the
or
planet
something.
accidentally. She didn't go there on purpose. She literally
No.
just crash landed there.
Yeah. There's literally no reason for her to be doing what she's doing. We don't
Right.
know we don't know what she wants. Like what is her goal? Is her goal to just escape Soul and then like go off in the galaxy and live a random life somewhere? Like what does she want to do? What does she want in this scene? In this episode, what does she want? What is she trying to accomplish?
I mean, I could throw some ideas at you, but it'd all be headcanon.
Yeah, okay.
We don't necessarily know.
We don't know. We don't know what the fuck she wants.
I mean, May was abandoned as a child on a planet, and she knows that the Jedi killed. So, I mean, telling OSHA what actually happened would be a good goal if they actually, said that.
Yeah, but then wouldn't her goal Yeah, but she doesn't know or even perceive. She wouldn't think that Osha's going to show up on Brendok for any reason.
The problem is they want to have a fight between them. So if she actually had a motivation to tell her, share with her information about the Jedi being liars, that
And they couldn't
I,
have a stupid fight, a twin fight,
the fight is so stupid. I don't even know why. Like, why are they fighting?
because kung fu fight, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Smilo finds Soul
Yes.
so that so we can have a lightsaber fight.
And then that makes me, and you're right. And when, so Smilo shows up and they have a lightsaber fight, and I'm like, why does Smilo even care about killing Soul at all?
Yeah. What's his motivation?
I, I don't know.
Soul didn't do anything to him.
Not, I
He
mean, not that
killed
we
all of
know.
Soul's Jedi friends.
Yes. And it was so weird because, like, so Smilo implies that Soul should know who he is. And then he takes off his mask. This is like 2 episodes ago, and Soul still doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And in this episode, Soul still doesn't know who he is. So we're like, well, what's going on here? Why does Smilo think Soul should know who he is? And then it never comes up again. There's never Smilo's never like, I can't believe you forgot about me, brother, or something like that. We just don't know.
Yeah.
And
And
then they
look,
fight.
Smilo is supposed to be bad.
Yes.
Wouldn't he be into the fact that Soul is like a corrupt Jedi? I mean, that would be badass, right? Like, why the fuck do
Yeah,
you want to
like,
kill the corrupt Jedi?
yeah, shouldn't he be like, I knew you were, evil.
You've been hanging out with May, teaching her for years and years and years, and she never told you that Soul is corrupt as fuck.
But he's not even because this is gonna come up later. But like, so we learn in this episode a piece of Star Wars canon that was in like one of the TV shows or something, which is that when you become evil and you're holding a lightsaber,
Oh
your
my god!
evilness makes the lightsaber turn red. Okay, we,
Don't-
we right.
please
So
tell me that's not like
that is a
that.
part of Star Wars. Apparently, that's why all the Sith have red lightsabers because their evilness corrupts the crystal and makes it turn red. Okay,
Is that is that really
that is
is
real.
it
It's
is that
stupid.
not part of lore? Or is that a new part
That
of
is
lore?
part of lore. Yes.
It is really
That is really
okay.
part of lore. Yeah, I think it's stupid. But so, but Soul can't be corrupt then because his lightsaber is not red. He's not part of the dark side. So the
Oh, you're right.
implication, right? So the implication is that according to the Star Wars Acolyte, the Jedi can still be the bad guys and be corrupted and
And
be
good.
and but still think that they're good without giving in to the dark side, which is confusing to the Star Wars lore.
We the scene where the lightsaber turns red is so cringe.
Yes,
It's
of
like
course.
the lightsaber is getting a giant red boner. You're
Yes,
going, what the fuck is
yes,
what is happening here?
yes. It's pretty bad. But I mean, yeah, so Soul and Smilo fight, and I mean, it looks fine, I guess. The choreography is not bad, but I'm watching it, and it's just kind of like, okay, there's got some guys fighting with laser swords, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
Like, I
there's
know
no
why Soul's fighting him because he's like, oh, you're a criminal who killed like all my friends, but I don't know why Smilo's fighting him or cares.
which is a horrible part of the like Soul should find Smilo and say, "Oh, it's you. I'm going to get you,"
Yes,
right? But no,
yes,
Smilo confronts Soul.
yes.
It's like, what? What? Why?
Right. Smilo should be looking for May, and then yeah, and then you're right. You're completely
You
correct. And
killed
then
all my friends.
right, exactly.
And
Yeah,
then you've
I'm
got
taking
like a
you
real
in.
reason.
Right. Yeah.
But he's like, if I can find you, the Jedi can find you.
Yeah.
Well, look, the
Like, oh,
Jedi have Basil. Of course they can find anyone. It's like they have the Bloodhound. You're just
you
using
don't.
the Force.
They don't need to use the Force. They have a little gopher guy.
This series is
Yeah,
so amazingly bad.
yes,
Okay. And then the twin fight happens. And
that's
it's
one
the
fight.
same exact thing. It's like, wait a second here. Don't you guys
Hmm.
don't you guys want to reconcile? Nah,
Well,
let's
it's
fight.
so weird. So Maze and her is in the room, and then Osha walks in the room. Now, remember, the entire motivation for Osha coming here was that she's like, I had a Force vision, that may kill Soul with the Force. So I'm gonna try to talk Osha out of it, right? I'm
Right.
gonna stop her. Okay. That was her goal. So then why does it when Osha find May, she immediately starts trying to punch her?
Yeah.
What happened to her motivation?
Yeah, that's another huge problem with this. Like so much of this could just be solved with a conversation. And when it goes to blows, when it could just be everything could be worked out with a conversation, the characters seem complete idiots.
Hmm.
Just talk to one another, right?
He it's all like this writing is classic soap opera melodramatic garbage, which is that there's some kind of like weird interpersonal conflict that could just be that is only exist because both parties lack a piece of factual information. And instead of like a normal human conversation where someone says like, "What are you talking about? This is what happened," and then they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad." Like it's just like drama, 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 and you're like, why are they not just explaining what's happening to each
Yeah.
other like a normal people? And that's weird too, because like so May says Soul lied to you. He blamed me for like everything that happened. And then Osha says Soul never blamed you. But that's not true. Soul 100% did blame her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not like there she trained Undersoul for years and years and years. I mean,
Yes.
that wouldn't be unclear that he blamed May. They would have had many conversations about, like, especially if she's dealing with anger over May.
Right.
Just none of this
No.
makes any sense.
Well, so May, or sorry, Osha says Soul didn't blame you. He tried to teach me to accept that someone that I love could be capable of this level of destruction.
He
And I
major
failed.
gaslighting.
Yes. Well, no, he's trying to teach her like the good thing to like let it go. But then this is like the shit characterization of the show. So we learn in this episode, one of the few things we do learn is that the reason Osha flunks out of Jedi school is she says, because I could never forgive you, May, for what you did. I could never learn to calm my negative emotions and my anger for like, burning down everything and killing, our mother or whatever. Right. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. It would have been very interesting if literally any point in this entire show you'd ever hinted that Osha had this like internal anger that she was like having difficulty trouble like controlling, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
From the beginning of the show till this very episode, at every point, Osha has always been characterized and portrayed as like the happy-go-lucky, super kind, literally risked her life to save a psychopathic
A
pedophile
criminal.
alien. Right. Like we never ever see it, even a fucking hint that she's like, I deep inside of me is a darkness I can't control. They never had any of that at any point until the last episode. She's like, oh, by the way, I've been having all this darkness inside me. You're like, what the fuck? That's not how you do character development. Like that should have been from the beginning.
Yeah, this is why the mystery box shit completely destroys all of these things, because it should have been, my sister tried to kill me
Right.
from episode 1, right?
Yes.
This is what
Yes.
I've been dealing with my whole life. My sister, my twin sister tried to kill me,
Right.
right? But
Right.
they couldn't have any of that in there because it's like, oh, well, that's mystery's going to be revealed in episode 3. So she can't say anything about that.
Like, and this is what they were trying to go for, and they just fucked it up. You're completely correct. Episode 1, she should think my sister tried to kill me, and we should know from the beginning that the reason she flunked out the Jedi was because she has this anger issue, and she could never let go of this anger towards her sister. Right?
Yeah, it'd be
That should
so
be
much better
episode 1.
when we finally
Right?
see her sister for the first time. You'd be like, that
Oh,
bitch.
right. And then we know like when they interact, we know what the emotional conflict will be between these two characters. You're like, oh shit. Like she blames her for killing her family and ruining her life and preventing her from being a Jedi, right? There's like all this like emotion writing on the interaction between these two characters,
Right.
or there should be, right? But there isn't
Yes.
because we don't get any of this until it's too late. We're like, wait, what? What do you mean you feel this anger? We've never seen this in your character ever. And then, well, that would explain later why she turns to the dark side. Spoiler warning. That would explain why she turns to the dark side when she confronts Soul, because she'd be like, "You lied about my sister. Everything that happened was your fault." Then that would actually make sense.
All
But we
this
don't
is
get any of that.
so stupid though, because May, obviously, at 8 years old, she would have contacted the Jedi immediately and contacted Osha and told her, "Look, I saw the Jedi kill mom." Like, why has she gone years and years and years and not made any attempt to contact Osha? It's all fucking stupid.
Why did she even think Osha was dead?
Yeah.
She didn't think. I mean, listen, I don't know how it works in space and Star Wars. She didn't like look up. There's no like yellow pages. There's no space book. She didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't look up to say if her sister was alive somewhere. You're just like, oh,
Dumb.
I guess I fell in a pit and I survived, so I guess my sister's dead.
Massive plot holes. No,
Right.
the writers never sat down and went like, well, wouldn't she just call the Jedi on Coruscant? I mean, they do have communicators.
Right.
They have the
Well,
little hologram. She would have just done a little hologram. Look, I'm still alive. Come save me.
well, how does she get up? We still know how she got off the planet.
Yeah, once she got off, when she's interacting with the Sith, she'd try to break away to a little hologram telephone, right?
I mean,
I've
you'd
been
think it.
abducted. I'm being
So then,
sexually assaulted by a Sith.
so then May tells Osha like, "Oh, actually, I didn't kill our mom. It was Soul that killed our mom. He lied to you about everything."
Right.
And then Osha,
Yeah, should have
right,
happened 20 years ago
which should have happened 20
or
years ago.
15 years ago,
Right.
rather.
And then Osha, uncharacteristically for no reason, decides to start kung fu. She's like, "I don't believe you," and then starts kung fu fighting May.
Right.
Well, she doesn't say I don't believe you, but I guess she doesn't believe her, which is why she's kung fu fighting May.
Which you could sell a little bit more, I think, if you had her. Like, part of her identity was her sister tried to kill her, because then it would be a little bit harder to
Yes,
face
then
that reality.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but no, if they had set up from the beginning that she had all this unresolved anger towards her sister for trying to kill her and killing her mom or thinking that she killed her mom and burning down the coven and all this other stuff, then yeah, when her sister she confronts her sister says, "I didn't do it, Soul does it." She doesn't believe her. That makes complete
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have any of that. And in fact, we've had like earlier when she's confronted her sister, she's like, so, oh, I can't take my sister in. She's my sister, right? Like she had a
Yeah.
chance to stun her with a little stun thing, and she doesn't stun her. No,
Yeah.
this is all just made up for the last episode.
We
None of
did
this.
not know why she didn't just shoot her, why
Yeah.
she couldn't shoot her. It's so stupid.
And
Anyway.
then during the fight, kind of for no reason silly, uh, Osha sees that Pip has become evil, and it's like, Pip, you've betrayed me. And then Pip shoots the little thing in her face. She shoots the little like robot oil in her face. I was like, what? I thought it's supposed to be like a serious scene. Why did you add the like slapstick comedy part to it? Where like little Pip is like, meow.
So the girls are fighting, the guys are fighting. Nobody's fighting the right people.
No. Oh, there's like a weird line where when Soul and Smilo are fighting, he says they notice that like the ship full of Jedi have shown up. Okay. And Soul says, now you have to pay for what you've done. Because he's like, oh, reinforcements have come. And then Soul says, they're not here for me. And I'm like, how
Soul
does he
said that?
know
I
that?
thought Smilo said that.
Smilo says, yeah, Soul says, you're going to pay for what you've done. And then Smilo says, oh, they're not here for me.
Yeah, they're here for you.
But how does he know that?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Why would he even think that?
Well, you'd think because he's done this plan to kill all the Jedi that did this horrible thing on Brendok, but they never really tie Smilo's motivation to revenge for the Brendok thing.
No,
Yeah,
we
which
don't know
is
what Smilo's
horrible.
motivation is outside the fact that he wants an apprentice. That's the only motivation we have been ascribed to him at all in this series.
Well, and he wants to have sex with Osha pretty bad, so.
Well, okay, I guess that's true. Yes, he wants to bang Osha and he wants to have an apprentice. He wants to bang his apprentice. Okay,
Yes.
which seems like an OSHA violation.
All right, we
But
got to
yeah, so
pause for a second because I got to go to the bathroom. So you're gonna have to
okay,
read a super
I'll read
chat.
a super. So this is like, what is going on here? Zero Fucks, thanks so much for the $2. Says first, that's right. Look at that. Zero Fucks with the first ever super chat on the channel. Good job, Zero Fucks. And Fondue for $2 for the second ever super chat on the channel says second. Thank you. Look at that. M8566 for $2 says emojis when. Yes, we'll have to get some emojis here. We can get some terrible acolyte emojis or something. Lucifer the German for 2 Canadians says, "Don't worry, all will be answered in season 2." Yeah, oh my god, it's so funny because I knew it. I knew it. I called it. I said they're not going to answer shit. Well, actually, I didn't even call it this bad. I thought they were going to answer like 50% of the things and then intentionally leave 50% of things unresolved for the next season. I didn't think you would get literally no explanation, no closure to anything. We don't know why they turned the lesbian turned into a smoke monster. We don't know what the fuck Smilo wants. We don't know what anything wants. So, um, JMac, our circuit flower, thanks so much. Daddy JMac for $20 says, "Ah, yeah, we monetize biatches." That's right. Grendel Vivat for $50. Thank you so much, Grendel. Says, "I'm ironically impressed by Disney's ability to consistently lower the bar. From, quote, at least it wasn't as bad as The Last Jedi to as bad as The Return of the Sith, to as bad as Boba Fett, to as bad as Kenobi, to as bad as Ashoka, and finally to as bad as The Acolyte." Yeah, you're right. Every new Disney Star Wars product comes out is even worse and worse and worse. Yes.
Why is that?
Yes.
I mean, I don't understand why. It seems like people be jumping at writing something. I guess it really is Kathleen Kennedy is incapable of distinguishing like a good script from a load of garbage, right?
Yes.
I just
Yeah. She's literally just a fucking retard. Kathleen Kennedy is bafflingly incompetently stupid.
how could you read this script and think, "Oh man, this is great. There's so many moving scenes." Right?
I literally couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. She needs, I mean, I don't understand how she wasn't fired after. I don't understand how she wasn't fired after Return of the Sith. This is the continuing schlock that keeps being produced by Disney Star Wars is never ending.
Yeah, it's just a load of
Yeah.
garbage.
They had
So
literally
let's
one good show, and that was it. That of all like 10 shows, they've produced one show that's like people that are good.
so
Pretty damn
since we're
good.
doing it again, we're
What?
we're an hour and 20 minutes in, like
Okay.
halfway through the thing.
I know. We'll try to speed up a
Maybe
little
we
bit.
should pick up the pace a bit here.
Okay. So then let's see. Okay, so there's just more fighting going on, more fighting going on.
Right.
Um
And then
then
the big turn is, I think, is there a switcheroo that goes on here?
there's no switcheroo.
So this is May, and May confronts Soul and gets Soul to admit he was the one responsible for killing the mom, and he does it in
Soul
front
somehow
of
cuts
OSHA.
Soul cuts Milo's lightsaber and destroys it, even though he had a little mini lightsaber inside the handle. So I guess it somehow destroyed both of them or something. And he's defeated Smilo and he's got his lightsaber to him. And you're like, oh no, is he gonna kill him? She should probably kill him. He's a dangerous guy. And then you're right. Then May shows up and she does like a kung fu move on Soul and then steals his lightsaber from him and then throws it and it like breaks or something. I know, I guess it doesn't break. He just throws it and it just gets knocked away.
But the important information in the scene
Yes.
is that May comes forward and says, "Look, you killed my mom." And Soul admits that he killed mom. And OSHA is standing off in the shadows and hears this. So now OSHA believes that Soul,
Right.
her old teacher, was lying the whole
Well,
time.
they do. You're right. They do like a swap thing because then so Smilo's like May strike Soul down, use your anger, and she's like, no, I want him to go to jail and testify so everyone knows what he did. And then that's when he admits the killing the mom. Yes.
Right. So, but then Osha comes out of the shadows and she does the I'm super powerful now. I can force choke you and kill you.
Yes. Yes.
So the prophecy that she saw was not May killing Soul, but Osha killing
Osha
Soul.
killing
It's
Soul.
like,
Yes.
so you're supposed to feel that this is super ironic. Like she came here to save Soul and now she's actually killing Soul. Of course,
Right.
you feel none of this.
No. Well, again, it's, like you said, the drama can only exist because people don't communicate like words of things that actually happened.
Right. Yeah.
Because Osha's like, "Oh my God, you killed my mom." And then instead of Soul saying, "Yes, I killed your mom because after May started a fire and locked you in a room and told us about it, your mom turned into a smoke demon and started dissolving May into mist."
Right.
Right? That
I
would be the
did it.
response to the question.
I did it because I thought I was saving May's life. I did it to save your sister's life.
Yes, she was turning her she was turned into a smoke monster. She was melting your sister. So I saved her. Yes. But he doesn't say that. He
No.
doesn't say that. Instead, he says it was the right thing to do. Right. That's all he says. It was the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
then Osha says, if it was the right thing to do, why didn't you tell the Jedi? Right. Which is a good question. Why did you cover up like that this happened? And then Soul says something that makes no fucking sense and is actually a lie. Because remember, in the flashback, the reason they don't supposedly the reason given for why they don't tell anyone is Trinity says, if you tell people, then you won't be able to train Osha, and Osha will be
Need
sad,
you. Yeah,
and
exactly.
she needs you, right? But instead of saying that, which was the explicit reason that we were given, Soul says, without May, there was no proof that you were created in this way, or you were created as a virgin of the Force. What does that have to do with the question? He said, "Why did you not tell anyone that you killed my mom to protect me?" And his response is, "Without May, there was no evidence." What? What does that even
Yeah, that
mean?
it is a total non sequitur. Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't mean anything. You're like, what the fuck?
Because I thought May was dead, I didn't tell anyone.
I
I mean,
what?
they first of all they blamed everything on May.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It makes no sense.
Weak sauce.
Yes, it's complete nonsense. And then he even says this new weird plot line where she's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me that I guess we were of Force virgins, even though we, the audience, don't know what that means." And then Soul says, "They would have sent you away." What is that? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Would have sent you away?
It's like the ET excuse. It's like they would have taken you to study you.
I guess. But
It had to remain a secret.
well, first of all, so okay. Why didn't they just have it? Wait, why didn't Trinity just say that before? Like in the flashback, they should have been. Why didn't she just say like, "Oh, we have to tell the council what happens," and then Trinity says, "No, the child is like a Force virgins. You know, if we tell anyone what happened, they'll study her or dissect her in a laboratory because the Jedi are evil or something. So we have to like cover all this shit up, and you just pretend like she's just a random child you found that's Force sensitive to like protect her life so she can live a normal life or something, right?
Well,
Like
that
when
would make
why
the
didn't she
Jedi
say
good,
that?
though, right?
Hmm?
That would make the Jedi good, and that would go against
I guess it
what they're
doesn't,
going for.
but that's what Soul's trying to say. Though when he says they would take her, like, are we supposed to believe the Jedi would have like conducted horrible experiments on her or something? Like, what does that even mean?
I think cutting this line is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Just cut this whole. I couldn't tell anyone because you are a Force virgins. Actually, take the whole Force virgins out of it because it's completely unnecessary.
And it doesn't, we don't even know what it means
Yeah.
in the show. Yeah. They never explain what it means or why anyone should care what that means.
Yeah.
And then, he's literally about to say, "I love you." And then she starts choking him with the Force.
Oh, is he? Is that what he was going to say? I love you?
Yeah, he says, "I wanted to tell you so many times, but I couldn't." And she goes, "Stop talking." And then he says, "I kept this from you so you could have a life you've always dreamed of. I did everything because I." And then she starts choking him.
Right.
You,
So
you
she
know,
kills
yeah.
Soul.
You know, like all the great love for Osha Soul had for her that we all like felt was like displayed clearly in the show that made this like death very tragic. Oh wait,
Yeah,
no,
none of
we
it.
didn't feel any of that.
As he's being choked to death, I'm thinking, how long before this is over?
Yeah,
Like, why is this taking so long?
it's funny. He's being choked to death, and I'm like, do I care? I'm thinking to myself like, do I want him to die? Do I not want him to die? And I realized I didn't really care either way.
Well,
Just
look,
like the worst one.
he is an evil character. Like they
Is
did a
he
giant
like?
look, we
Yeah,
knew about the cover up as soon as Trinity said to cover it up, and
right.
Soul went along with it. Like as soon as you realize, oh, this character is an evil character, you're like, okay, well, he's getting what he deserves here.
I guess.
Maybe that's what I'm maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's what the writers want me to
But it
feel.
doesn't. But it doesn't even make. See, and actually, I wonder what's going on here too. I wouldn't be surprised if what's going on, part of what's going on, and part of why it's so incoherent, is that the creator of this schlock wanted to do this stupid "the Jedi are evil, all Jedi are bastards" nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But Disney wouldn't let them do the full scope of that because as stupid, as utterly fucking retarded as Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are, they're not so stupid that they're going to be like, oh, you can just make the Jedi evil. Like, they got to be some level of intelligence to protect the Jedi. So they had to do this kind of like wishy washy. The Jedi are sort of evil, maybe, but sort of not, into a level that's just incoherent. Because
Yeah.
when she's
It doesn't
choking
work.
Soul, who as a question, is Soul right? Is he wrong? She's clearly displayed as evil because in one hand she's choking Soul, in the other hand she's holding his lightsaber, and we see that the lightsaber start crystal turns red as she's choking him, meaning that she's becoming evil.
Yeah.
So
Look.
it's
But look, they even set it up like the leftist belief system that she's becoming evil because of the environment. Like she's not actually evil. She's just been turned evil because of this thing that happened to her. It's kind of
right,
funny. Yeah.
right, yeah, yes,
Circumstances made her evil. She's not just categorically evil.
yes, yeah. Well, and also,
I
why
guess they
is
do that with Darth Vader too, though.
well, no, Darth Vader was like, well, I guess no, no. Darth Vader was
No,
like
Darth
kind of
Vader.
like just categorically evil from the beginning. He always had like emotional problems from the beginning.
Well, no, the prequels set it up as, he fell in love and it was like forbidden love and
Yes, but even before that, he was kind of like seemed like a jerk,
that's why he killed the younglings.
right? But no. Why is she so powerful? So we just had this whole fight scene where Soul was powerful enough to defeat Smilo, even though Smilo killed like 10 Jedi in the previous episode. Okay, so Soul's like, oh, he's such a badass. He could beat this guy that beat like 10 Jedi. But then Osha, who flunked out of Jedi school, is so powerful now that she can force choke Soul and he can't stop her.
There's no consistency to the power levels of any of these
Okay,
characters. Like you can't really have an argument on Reddit about who would beat who in a fight
right.
because it's just incoherent.
Yeah.
This scene where the lightsaber gets a boner is just so I'm like, I mean, why is she holding it out that way? As it's
To, ju-
like
to just show that it's become red, to show that she's become evil, I guess.
and he looks down at it like, oh yeah, you're fully erect now.
You're fully Sith erect, yes. You've
Look
gone
at
full
this.
Sith.
Like, and why is she pointing it at him?
Because he like went to like touch her and she was like, get away from me. I just had my first Sith orgasm and it's like, don't touch me. Like I need like a recoil period or
Look,
something.
look, she's still got the blue tip.
Exactly.
How
Right.
could they think this was a good idea?
I don't know. It looks so bad.
I can't
Her
imagine.
acting in this whole sequence
Oh yeah,
is bad too. Her
it
like
is.
turning evil acting is so bad.
Oh yeah,
So and then okay, then after all that, finally, even though we saw the Jedi like 10 minutes ago fly by, like they just finally landed.
Right.
The Jedi finally land.
And this
They
is my
walk
favorite
out.
scene. They walk out. Where's
Oh,
fucking Basil?
well, before Basil, the Green Lady, she immediately senses Smilo and knows who he is
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and says, "You're alive?" Question mark. Oh no! Like she
This
immediately knows what's going on. I guess.
they hint at it, but we obviously know that purple whip that she has were the markings on Smilo's back.
Right. Right. I guess. Yeah.
Like
You're right.
she
Yeah.
previously trained Smilo and gave him a whip cracking with her purple dominatrix whip one too many times,
Yes. Exactly.
and
Exactly.
sent Smilo to the dark side looking for a little someone he could torture.
Right. Then the worst two characters in this show talk to each other. You have Basil and like the effeminate beta male secretary. And he goes, Basil, you're all right. What a relief. This stupid fucking gopher character that everyone despises is alive. Oh, it's so good.
Right.
God.
Like
He has his
he's been
little, you're
waiting
right.
there for them to arrive, right? Like he literally watched Soul walk away.
How
And
did he know where their ship was gonna land?
what does he do? He like pulls something out for him to smell. What does he fucking pull out?
I don't. How did Basil get there? He looked up in the sky. He saw the ship was going, and he uses teeny tiny, slow ass crap walking legs. He walks everywhere like he just pooped his pants. He somehow caught up to wherever the ship is, like a mile the fuck away from everybody.
It's so what what is the thing that he gives Basil to smell? Is that like something of souls or something of
Uh, what part? What time code is that? What part is that?
I can't it's got to be around 29:30, but
Hmm.
Basil Basil comes up to the ship, right? And they literally pull out something for Basil to well maybe it comes up later. They give Basil something to smell so that they
Hmm.
can go find everyone.
Right. Well, I guess we'll talk about that when we get there. But so
I think it is at like 29, but anyway, go ahead. The
so
Jedi are
Sammy
trying to catch up.
Sammy in the chat says, I figured it out. Smilo is an apprentice of the green bald lady. That's where he learned the memory wipe technique. That's why Soul doesn't remember him. They showed him doing that to May in order to show people can do it. Oh, you think Smilo or the green lady or Smilo mind erased Soul? And that was gonna be some stupid reveal in season two?
Soul's dead.
Maybe. I would believe that the show is so poorly written that they would do something like that, even though, yeah, Soul's dead, so that shouldn't even matter. Because it is weird. That was a completely unresolved thing. Smilo knows who Soul is, and Soul doesn't know who he is. So, okay, so this next scene is what's going on here? Osha and May are like, wait, hold on. So when Smilo senses the green lady, he like freaks out and he puts his little helmet on and he just runs away, I guess. And then May tells Osha, like, we need to escape. We need to run away from the Jedi. And she
Right.
goes, oh, okay. And then you just leave. You just leave Soul's dead body there.
Right. Yep. And they go she shows her where she got sucked in when she fell down into the tunnel, which is supposed to be
Right.
some like big reveal nobody gives a fuck about.
No one ever dies in Star Wars when they fall in a pit. They just get like sucked down a little shaft or something.
Yeah, exactly. This is how I ended up living. Well, why didn't you call me, bitch? You've been alive for 16 years. You don't pick up the fucking phone. You knew I was going to be a Jedi. The Jedi are on Coruscant. What are you doing?
You know what? You're right. That makes literally no sense because you're right. She 100% May knew Osha wanted to be a Jedi. She didn't think to ask the Jedi when she survived. Why didn't she think to check the Jedi like yellow pages and be like, "Is there a excuse me, Jedi? Is there a person named Osha there that I can talk to?"
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
bitch, you better have amnesia or something when you fell down that hole.
right. So then,
Okay, so all the Jedi show up.
yes.
The Jedi in force here in their police uniforms.
And the green lady's like spread out and like make a perimeter. And then
Progressives
she
hate
like
religion too. They had to throw that religion line in.
they did,
They're
yeah.
like, you guys are just a religion.
Then
We're
she
all
like
atheists here in the
she lean
Senate.
she leans over Soul's dead body like she's gonna like kiss him or
Mac on him.
something.
Yeah, it's like
But
she's gonna
then
do like
yeah,
a force healing or something.
I don't know. But then
Give him the
doesn't.
force tongue.
She doesn't do anything. And then she turns around and Smilo's gone. You know, he was creeping on her. She could sense it or
Oh
something.
yeah, she looks up
Yeah.
where Smilo is.
And it's so funny because they literally call this is how poorly this show is written. They literally directly call attention to the fact that you, the audience member, should question what the fuck happened. How did May get off the planet? Because Osha, as a character, says, "You did all this when you were little. What did you do next?" Right? So they literally plant the seed in your mind as the audience member, like, "Oh, you're right. What did May do next? How did she escape the planet?" And then they never tell you.
Right. Yeah, why not solve that? Why not say, look, um, the guy found me and basically has been holding me hostage for forever. Wouldn't
Right,
allow me to
or
call. I tried to call you. I tried to get a hold of you, but
right, exactly. Yeah. He
yeah.
wouldn't let me, or he told
Smilo,
me he lied to me. He told me that you were dead or something. I don't know. It's
yeah.
something.
Resolve
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Just don't leave all these stupid hanging threads. So yeah, this is so Soul. They basically are going to blame everything on Soul now.
Yeah.
Soul is responsible.
Yeah, so then they find the little tree that's supposed to have some kind of
Oh,
emotional
here it is.
significance.
I found it.
So you found Basil sniffing the little
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just like a little pack or something.
Find May and OSHA for us.
Yes.
They're both very force sensitive, and we're all force sensitive. So
There's supposed to be some kind of magical force virgins that all the Jedi should be able to feel from like a billion miles away,
yeah.
which apparently Smilo Ren can just sense, but all these Jedi they can't. They need to use this stupid Basil Weasel Badger Gopher to find
Right.
them. Yeah.
Something tells me they're trying to sell Basil toys.
Yeah, maybe. So then they go to this little tree that's, I guess, supposed to be a magical force tree or something. It's supposed to have some significance that we, the audience, don't know or care about whatsoever.
I came here. Ocean. I waited for you, but you never showed up.
Right. And then they hug each other.
And then I
And it's
forgot
so
about you
touching. Yeah.
for 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this is way. And you're like the whole situation completely undercuts the emotion of the scene because this is like the Castaway scene, right? I've been stuck on a desert island for fucking 16 years and I finally reunite with my family. And it's completely hollow because you're like, well, you could have reached out any time, bitch. Pick up the phone.
well, also it's kind
I'm
of
on Coruscant.
it's kind of bullshit too, because it's like, yeah, it is everything. Her mom dying, everything is May's fault. There isn't like this shouldn't be some big crying reconciliation moment because May did lock Osha in the room, did start a fire. That fire did kill a bunch of the witches. Her running up saying, "I accidentally started the fire," is what caused the mom to turn into a spooky smoke monster in the first place. That reaction is what caused Soul to kill her. So it all is May's fault.
Yeah.
She was the domino that started all of this chain of events from happening. So Osha shouldn't be like, "Oh, I love you now." Like that doesn't make any sense. She should still blame her for everything because it still was her fault.
It was all Soul's fault. It was all that stupid cop's fault. I know my mom called the cops and had drugs in the house and pulled out the gun when they showed up on the porch.
Exactly. But it was Soul's fault, yeah.
But it was the cop's fault.
Yes, yes.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
So then
Hollywood
Smile
writers.
I know, it's so bad.
So
That is a
Smilo
good
shows up.
comparison, yeah. Yeah, but Smile shows up and he's like, the Jedi are gonna find you, and then Osha's like, it's fine, we'll just tell them the truth. The truth is that you it's really weird. She's like, we'll just tell them the truth, it'll be fine. The truth is that May murdered two people and you murdered a third person, and you think that's fine? What do you mean? You killed Soul in complete cold blood, complete unjustifiable way. Like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about? It's retarded. Is Osha an idiot?
Yeah. And then even agreeing to this memory wipe thing, it's like, what? You're gonna
Doesn't even
wipe
make
my
sense, dude.
memory?
Yeah, why?
Like, how much memory am I gonna lose? I'm not gonna be retarded.
So then, so then Smilo says, if you do that, Osha, you're too powerful. You'll meet the same fate as your mom, which that doesn't make sense. You're gonna turn to a smoke demon and get stabbed. I think, okay.
And her mom didn't die because she was powerful. Her mom died because she was stupid. Not
Yes,
she was not
exactly.
powerful. She was low
Right,
IQ. That's why she
right,
died.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then, so then we have like the worst question ever, or the worst thing could ever do. Osha says to May, "What do we do?" And then May makes a cardinal sin. She says to Osha, a woman, "What do you want to do?"
Oh no. And then 45 minutes later, OSHA
Exactly.
recounts the entire 8 episodes. Well, and
Right.
then we did this, and so we could do that, but then we did, and then we got
Right.
it. And then I
So
helped the
then,
criminal by pulling the thing off, and that wasn't a good idea. So we probably shouldn't do that.
yes. Well, then since okay, so after an hour goes by of Osha like thinking about what she wants to do, she then comes up like a woman with a completely irrational, illogical thing that makes no sense. Okay. Her response to what she wants to do is she turns to Smilo and says, "Let my sister go and I will train with you."
Yes, this
What
scene
does that mean? Wait,
completely bugged me because it's like, so now the Sith and the Jedi are completely like interchangeable. Like, I'm just gonna train with you, a Sith.
well, I don't even, what is her? She says, "Let my sister go, I will train with you." Why isn't, why doesn't she just be like, "Why don't you train me and my sister?" Right? Like, what is a sacrifice? She's like acting like she's making a sacrifice, like she doesn't want to do it, but like, what do you mean? That hasn't been established. She just killed Soul. She's turned the lightsaber red. So, like, why didn't she just train in the dark side of the Force with her sister? Her and her sister together can just train the together and be happy. Like, why is she doing this? Why is she like, no,
Yeah,
leave my sister alone? Like, why?
they're
What do you
both
mean?
dark.
Yeah. Does
This
your
is
sister
supposed to be
want to
like
be
the big
trained?
sacrifice. Like,
But there's no
you
scene
go
like
be good and I'll be dark. I'll be
there's
dark for the both of us.
there needs this that needs to be set up. There needs to be something where Smilo's like, May, you will come back with me and you'll be my apprentice. And then Osha's like, no. And then May's like, no, I just want to go be a mechanic in space like my sister. And then he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to kill both of you. And then Osha says something like, no, let my sister go and all you can train me or something, right? Like, so that there's some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, that needs a setup. You're right. It makes
Yes.
absolutely no sense. She's just like, here's the plan. You wipe my memory
Yeah.
and I'll go
Okay.
train with a whip boy.
Right. And then, yeah, okay. Well, actually, it doesn't even make sense either. Cause so she says, okay, I'm going to go sacrifice myself, which doesn't make any sense. And I'll train instead of, leave my sister alone. And then May says, the Jedi will use me to find you. What does that mean? How?
Because they can sense one another. Yeah, it's not really
That's never been
clear.
established. Can they like stick a little light bulb in May's ass? Like whatever, like they'll point her in a direction in the universe and will like start to glow whenever it's like pointing towards Osha or something. Like that's never been talked about in this show or established.
A big part of the lore, though, is that there's supposed to be no Sith in this period. So
Yeah,
the fact that people know that there are Sith completely breaks the lore. So
of
I
course.
think the memory wipe is supposed to preserve that lore. Like
I
the
guess.
corrupt Jedi are not going to say that there's a Sith,
Hmm.
and
Right.
since they wipe May's memory, she can't say that there's Sith because she's doesn't remember the Sith,
Well, even
and
but
Osha
this
escapes with the Sith, so she's not going to say anything.
but this doesn't okay. So if Osha says, "Listen, I'll be your apprentice, but you have to let May go," okay? Why didn't like she doesn't mean like you just have to leave her here. Why don't they just leave? And then they're like, okay, just drop May off on some planet somewhere. like outside of the Jedi's jurisdiction, so she could just do whatever the fuck she wants.
Jedi
Like,
are
why do
gonna
they just
find
leave her
her
there?
eventually and use her to find Osha.
How?
I don't know who fucking cares.
So instead, Smilo pulls out of fucking like Kingdom Hearts soap opera melodrama nonsense. Is like, I have the power to wipe memories, and we're like, wait, excuse me, has this ever happened in Star Wars before? It's like, I don't know. And he's like, no, I can remove the memories. I can remove a trace of me and her from her mind permanently. Which, by the way, Adam, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even fucking make any sense. Because if the problem is that they're saying that the Jedi can somehow use the Force, they can use May to find Osha because they're technically like the same person split in half. May having a memory of Osha would have no impact on that ability whatsoever. They would still have the same Force connection. Erasing the memory doesn't erase their Force connection. The fact that they're the same fucking person. So they should still be able to use May to find Osha. Erasing her memory doesn't solve any of that.
Yeah. They are super shaky on the rules of like the metachlorian stuff. So,
Yes.
but I mean, you would think they could find some other way to.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense. So then, but they just do it for the melodrama. So then she's like they're both
Somebody.
sacrificing for each other. Okay. Osha is going to go off and train to be the dark side, sacrifice for May. And May is going to sacrifice her memories for Osha. That's why they did it. They're both sacrificing for each other. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's not, but
So then they hug, and then Smilo erases May's memory,
so touching.
even though he doesn't. It's not even explained why Smilo would want May in the first place, because it seemed like she gave up anyway. Doesn't really know what the fuck Osha's motivation to do anything. We don't know what she really wants to do, so we don't really understand what the sacrifice is, or if there is a sacrifice.
Now, no, look, now she wants to be a Sith, but who knows why?
I
Who
guess.
cares?
And then, May or Osha says to May, "I will find you again." Which again, why doesn't she just go with her? Like, why doesn't she just go with? Why don't they take May with them? Why do they just leave her there?
We have to split up.
Why?
Otherwise, there's no sad parting moment. This is the part of the script where the two characters are forced to leave one another because the script says so.
They're still so they're like she's just leaving her to go to jail. She understand that, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh, May, you're arrested. We're wanted for the murder of two Jedi." And she's like, "Well, I don't remember." And they're like, "Oh, she doesn't remember, but you still did commit those murders, so we don't give a fuck. You're going to jail." Like, who
Oh,
cares?
trying the old I don't remember trick,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. Right. It's like,
Oh,
who
we've
does it
heard this one
matter?
before.
Yeah, like, oh, so that's very convenient. You don't remember that you committed murder. Okay.
Well, your fingerprints are all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They literally do the but I don't remember thing. I'm so innocent, I don't remember.
Yeah, which
I
who
did
gives a
something
fuck?
bad?
Right. So then Green Lady talks to May. She says, I don't remember. Nothing really
Mhm.
important happens. Then Green Lady, who they dressed up like fucking Imperial Grand Moff Tarkin or something, I guess, um, is like at a weird Senate meeting in like this room. And she's like, oh, it turned out that there was like a Jedi who did a bunch of bad stuff. And it was all Soul. He killed a bunch of people to cover it up. He's the bad apple. And he just so coincidentally is dead now. So it's all fine. You don't need to investigate us at all, right?
Yeah.
It's
We're
the
all
most like,
innocent.
yeah. It's the most like ridiculous, like, okay, you know, bad cop nonsense, you know?
Yeah. It was just Derek. Derek did all this.
Yes.
We're not corrupt to the core.
We're
But we
totally
know that
not
they're
bad.
corrupt to the core. We know they're all
Yes.
corrupt. They've all been trying to cover it up. We know the Green Lady's been trying to cover it up. We know she's corrupt.
I guess.
Yeah, we
Oh, and then
do.
apparently the Green Lady like burned Soul's body for some fucking reason. There's literally a shot of her like lighting his corpse on fire on like a river barge.
Really?
Yes. It's that let's see what's this time
I
period here.
started listening at this point. I was like making the thumbnail. I was like, this
Uh,
fucking bullshit.
it's at if you go to 40 minutes and 51 seconds,
Okay.
she like
Oh, you're
she's like
right. Oh
yeah, she,
shit.
like burns his body. I don't know
Why?
why. I don't know. This is so. Well, I guess the show. Oh, I know why. Because she claimed that Soul after he killed all the people to cover it up, he couldn't deal with the guilt, so he killed himself. Right. But that's a huge problem because all the Jedi. She showed up like 30 Jedi. They all saw his body there. They all know he didn't kill himself. They're gonna be like, "What happened to that body, ma'am? Oh, I burned it. Wait, you did what? Why did you do that? Oh, because it's a ceremonial Jedi thing. No, it's not. What the fuck
Weren't
are you
we
talking
supposed to
about?
do
We
an
should think,
autopsy?
yeah. Oh no, it's fine. He killed himself. With how? He looked like he got force choked. What do you mean he killed himself?
Yeah, what was the cause of death there?
No, like that was weird too. I don't know why they even wrote it like. Why didn't they write it so that only she showed up, right? Because then she could have just covered it up. Like, why did she show up with 30 people to make it super hard to cover up?
Yeah, dumb.
So then, Green Lady tells May, who doesn't remember anything, um, she says, Soul did everything. He's a bad man. And I need your help to find your sister. And then we cut to the final scene. We have Osha and Smilo back on the planet, and he grabs her hand and touches it, and he's like, "We're gonna fuck." And that's the end of the show.
They're
Oh wait,
staring
no,
off.
there's one more scene, but
Yeah, what are you talking about?
it's the worst scene ever. Yes,
This isn't the piss in every Star
right.
Wars fan's face scene.
Yes,
This isn't it.
and
We
then
gotta
we
get
have your
directly to it here.
post credit scene. You have the Green Lady walks into a mysterious room.
Yeah, she
Doors
does.
open slowly.
Yeah, here she comes. She's walking in. Here it is.
Yes,
Here she comes.
she says, "We need to talk." Who's she talking to?
Who's this? Oh my god.
Oh
No.
no, it's Yoda. Oh no, Yoda's part of the cover up. Oh my god,
Yoda is part of the cover up. So
Yoda helped.
the whole time Yoda is training Luke on Dagobah. Yoda
Yes,
knows about this fucking bullshit cover up.
Luke is like, "Tell me about the dark side of the Force, Yoda." And Yoda's like, "Yes, one
Well, there
time."
was this one time when a bunch of witches got killed, and I had to bury the whole story.
Yes, there was one time we had to cover up a bunch of lesbian witches being killed. Yes, very tragic indeed. Greater good, greater good.
Exactly.
Like, oh my god.
Very tragic it was.
Yes.
Yeah. This scene.
Oh
Oh
my
god.
god.
Look, we've been streaming since this dropped, but I'm sure like it's all over Twitter. Everyone is like super pissed about this.
I know, yeah.
I don't know how you can't be pissed about this. Because all of this takes place before any of the movies, anything we've seen Star Wars related. This scene here takes place before all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fucking corrupt Jedi cover up
Yep.
being introduced to Yoda.
Yep.
Yes.
I like that someone.
Does Yoda expose it all? Does Yoda do
No,
the right thing?
no, Yoda keeps it secret. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Must preserve the Jedi. I must.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone actually tweeted out, if seeing Master Yoda isn't reason enough, if seeing Master Yoda isn't enough reason why the Acolyte should get a second season, I don't know what the hell is.
Really?
Someone tweeted that out.
So look, these people are so dumb. They're like, I just saw Yoda and I got a giant boner. Like season 2.
I saw it and I liked it and I clapped and I liked it. Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
god, it's Yoda.
Yep.
This is this is the worst ending imaginable. I think one of our live streams I brought this up. And I said, "Oh God, please tell me Yoda is not in this thing. Please tell me Yoda's not in this thing." You remember that?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
look, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Yeah.
Luke, did I
Okay.
ever tell you about the time I covered up a murder?
Did I ever tell you about the time I covered up the murder of 50 witches by one of our Jedi?
Is the dark side stronger? No. Light side very good at covering up murder.
Did I tell you the racially diverse Senate tried to come after us?
I swept it under the rug, I did. Yes.
Swept it under the rug. I did. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Look, I took
That's
some
it.
notes, but I think I pretty much got them
I
all
think we
out
got it
as we
all,
were
yeah.
as we were doing this.
Yep.
You guys should let us know. I think we're kind of doing this format kind of EFAP style, so
We
I
want to
don't
make
know
a. We
if
should probably do you want to do like an overall video, like on Acolyte or something.
I think we could. Sure,
Yeah,
definitely.
that'd be fun.
We did kind of do a scripted video,
Hmm.
but I know we never really came together for us, so
Right. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. But anyway, so let's read these supers. The
yes.
super
Thank you
chats.
guys. Look, all
Thank you
this you
so
guys are so
much.
generous with the super
Yes.
chats.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you, Lucy. Lucy in the sky for the $10 and the
yeah.
emoji of a
A
lemon
lemon
with
man
maracas.
shaking
Yes.
his maracas.
Right. PC for $5 says, now that we've seen the end, can you answer the big question? Did the Acolyte kill the franchise?
Yes.
Yes.
This
I
is
mean,
yeah, people are going to be pissed about this.
I think the franchise has been dead for a while. I think the Acolyte took a cement truck and poured cement all over the dead and
Over the
buried Star Wars
corpse.
franchise. Yes.
I
Yeah.
said this I said this in multiple live streams that the way to do this is to show the Jedi being bad up front and then walk it back so that you really realize the Jedi were good, but they were in a bad situation. I guess it's kind of like the same thing with 2001, where Hal is doing all this evil shit. And then you realize, oh, well, Hal was put in this position where he had to lie and he just didn't know how to do it. So
Right.
that's kind of the structure you would want. And all of you unanimously said, oh, making the Jedi super evil would be just
Unthinkable.
horrible.
Yeah.
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 Unthinkable. Yeah.
Right.
Well, look, they did that. Only they ended on the Jedi being horribly evil, which
Right.
there's no way to backpedal from here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless their goal was like, we'll get a season 2 because we have to do some backpedaling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm. It'll be interesting to see how this goes down, but I just the canon ramifications. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of videos tomorrow about this. Everything people were hoping would materialize really didn't materialize at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be massive disappointment there. And then the thing that did materialize is all Jedi are bastards and Yoda knew about it and covered it up. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah.
Fondue for 2 hours says, so witches can keep embryos from recombining? I guess so. Stug for 2 hours says, wait, is this a Kami Piccolo thing or something? No, I think it's supposed to be. It's so weird because Soul keeps like starting to say it, then never finishes saying it. I mean, I'm guessing what they're saying is that the witches somehow split one life into two, but I don't know why they don't just say that. Like, why does those words never leave Soul's lips? He says somehow the witches split one life into two or something. Also, I thought that they were going to do that because then it wouldn't ruin the lore. They should have been like, no, no, no. They didn't create a baby with the Force. They just had like a normal baby, and then they used the Force to like split into two people or something, right? But they didn't say that. So,
Yeah. None of it. I mean, that would be a cool scene if they did it when the kid was like 2 years old or something. Like show one kid becoming two kids, or did
well, I
they
assume
do
you
it
have to do
like
it in like of the womb or something, but
so they did it when it was an embryo. So it's like a
I
normal
guess.
twin process. So
Yeah, I
I
guess. Yeah.
mean, like There's a lot of twins out there, so how do you know it was a force? How do you know it just wasn't?
I don't, because they both have the same parasite, even though we don't know what the fuck that means because it's never explained, and I've
Well,
never even heard
you
that term
also still
in
have
Star
the
Wars.
virgin birth situation where
Yes,
supposedly there was no dad.
right,
All
right.
of this is so muddled. It's like
I know.
there was no dad, and it was only one embryo, but then it became two embryos. Like, did the force make it into one embryo? And then the force was like, oh, let me have two embryos too. Like, well,
Well, and also like why they act like it's a big reveal, like, oh, you know, you're not twins, you're the same person. Okay, but I mean, they're first of all, what does that mean? You're split. They're always created by the Force. So why, like, that's not like a reveal. Like, I mean, who cares? What does that mean for the story? If they're quote a biological twin or a twin made by the Force, like, what is the difference?
yeah, and same person how? Like, I mean, they're obviously two different people walking around and fighting one another, right?
Yes,
Like, what does
right.
that even mean? They're
They
the
have
same
two different
person.
personalities. They seem to have two different personalities from the beginning.
One gets memory wiped and one doesn't. So
Yeah,
when Soul says you're the same person, he's just
right.
lying.
Also, like, yeah, it seemed like May was much better with the Force from the beginning than Osha. I don't know why Osha's suddenly super powerful at the end for no reason. Uh, Fondue for JR says Basil is in fact Darth Plagueis the Wise. I believe
Oh,
it.
please make it stop.
I believe it. Daniel Irish for $10 says streets are saying Destiny has been banned from Kick. Rest and piss. Oh, really? Holy shit!
That's that is kind of unsurprising to me. I kept thinking
I thought Kick was like the Wild West.
this is just such brand damage. I
Right.
don't. Doesn't he have like $100 million contract with them or something? That's ridiculous.
I
It can't
don't
be
know.
$100 million contract.
No, obviously not that much, but yeah.
I think he has some obnoxious contract with Kick. So
Yes. M8566 for 2 hours says, quote, for no reason. Thank you. I was thinking that the whole time.
yeah,
The little voice clip of the guy from God, what's the movie I love so much with the British cops, the
I don't
trilogy
know.
movie,
I don't know
Cornetto
this meme
trilogy. Yes, you do. You've
for
seen the
no
movie. We
reason.
talk about all in Hot Fuzz
Oh, Hot Fuss.
at the end when he's confronting like that they're doing all the murders. He's like, they're doing all this for no reason. It's like that's like this whole show. It's just like I just see that character in my mind screaming like, "We're doing this for no reason. This
Yarp?
cover up." Yarp. Yeah, the
Yarp?
Hound. The Hound. I know
Oh,
it's
that
so
is the
crazy.
Hound.
The Hound. Yeah. Eco Shadox for $5 says, "I'm barely 30 minutes in your stream with Rudyard, and you're live again. I guess I'll never ever run out of Stitch and Adam. Keep up the grind, y'all." Well, thank you. It's true.
Yeah, no, this is
His
fun.
Destiny's kick page goes to a 404 error. Also, his kick contract ended a few weeks ago. Oh wow.
Is
Okay.
that why he's losing his mind? Is he like, oh my God, I have to make ad revenue on YouTube?
Interesting. I don't know. I would have thought he could have got it renewed, but see his Pierce Morgan interview. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Oh, we're definitely going to check that out. Yeah.
Dwayne Douglas for $5 says, "In Empire Strikes Back, Rebel Soldier, your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker, Han Solo. Then I'll see you in hell."
Oh,
Oh, he
you're
says, okay.
right.
He does say it. Well, there you go. I take it back.
I'll see you in hell, Jedi.
Right. So that was supposed to be a reference? Oh, God. That's even worse. That's even worse. Stug for $2 says, sounds like these payoffs were dot 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 forced.
True.
Don Mac for $5 says, look up the Pink 5 Saga fan films to see a lead female hero in Star Wars that appeals to more than just feminists. I'll check it out. Pink 5 Saga. That sounds
Oh,
interesting.
they're fan films? That's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
That's how Star Wars Theory got big. He did that Star Wars short, that fan film.
Oh, that's cool.
That Lucasfilm made him demonetize, which sucks. I think
Oh,
it has
that
like
sucks.
50 million views or something like
Jesus.
that.
That's awful.
And it's super quality too.
That's dick move. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hiding in Dev's car while he moves specifically for $10 says, I can't even laugh at the bad writing. It terrifies me that people whose morality champions the witch cult, Smilo, Ren, and Maze are justified and even virtuous, have institutional power.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Because the whole critique is about how institutional power is ultimately corrupt, right?
Yeah,
How ironic is that, right?
yeah,
Who has the institutional power here? You
exactly.
corrupt
That's a good
pieces of
point.
shit.
Good point. Voice for $5. Yeah. Who's watching the Watchers? Yeah. Someone asked Dad of Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. Who's watching these Watchers?
Yeah,
Okay.
please let us know.
Terrible. Uh, oop, where was I? Lucifer Domer for 5 Canadian says in the Darth Plagueis novel, he goes around ending every Dark Force user to keep the Sith a secret. This show is fan fiction.
Oh, really?
Terrible.
Wow.
Lucifer Domer for another 2 Canadian says, I'm pissed off about this in all caps. Thank you, Lucifer.
You should be.
You should be. Hiding in Dev's car while he moves specifically for $10 says, I can't even laugh at the bad writing. Oh, I read that one. Sly Goose for 10 Canadian says, why couldn't they just steal the plot of Shutter Island? Jedi is brought in to find Sith Lord by hunting her twin sister. Plot, she's the evil sister being manipulated by the Jedi to expose her own master. Ooh,
That would have been a million times better.
that would have been kind of interesting. See, that's actually perfect. Sly Goose, you're a genius. That's how you could do it, where you have it seem like the Jedi are doing something kind of weird and you can seem like the Jedi are evil, but then it's just because they're like using this apprentice. I mean, even though it is kind of morally gray, like mind control someone in that fashion, but that would
Not
be
near
pretty
as bad
cool.
as this, though.
No, no, not. Yeah, right. But that's a great idea, actually. That's a very good idea. Sammy G for $5. Thank you, Sammy. Says we may not know what the plot is doing in season 1, but we know what OSHA is doing in season 2.
Ah, so
LOL.
true.
There
So
you go.
true.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There'll
That's
be
what
lots of
matters, right?
shipping going on. And
Yes. Dwayne Douglas for $20 says basically an entire series that messes up the Chekhov guns principle over and over again. Very true.
true.
Very
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
Gets for $5 says maybe the real acolytes were the friends we made along the way. Nah. There you go.
Yeah.
M8566 for $2 says hashtag AJAB. There you
That's
go.
exactly right. I think some of you guys were saying that when we streamed last week, too. And you were right on the
Right.
money.
Right. JMac or Circuit 5, thanks so much, Daddy JMac, for the $20. Says to be fair, English isn't Soul's native language. It's easy to get lost in translation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That was it. He doesn't speak English, so he didn't know how to explain the conversation. I mean the plot point correctly to OSHA. That's what happened.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Automata for $5 says A, quote, no proof. B, they take you away. But B makes A moot. Also glad to see that Vader got killing without a weapon from these two as well. That's true. Before this moment, no one had ever force choked anyone ever. They didn't even know the concept existed.
Oh, you're right.
They turns out OSHA invented the concept of the force choke.
They should have showed little Anakin, little Anakin Skywalker peeking up over the thing and seeing the force choke.
That looks like a cool idea. That's a neat trick. TL1524 for $2 says, why does her lightsaber look like a rainbow pop? Because it's becoming evil. Woo.
Yes. Yeah.
OPEC for $2 says, Sitch. Han says, quote, then I'll see you in hell and Star Wars
Empire Strikes
Empire Strikes
Back.
Back. Yeah. There you go.
The
I totally forgot about
best
that.
Star Wars.
Lucid Doman for 5 Canadian says, oh, the one. Stock for $5 says, when May and OSHA fuse back together, will they become a super virgins? There you go. I like it.
Yeah. Why doesn't Smilo Ren ever just say, try to hook up the three-way? Be like, look, you are basically the same person, right? I
There
mean,
you go.
it's
There you
nothing,
go. You're right.
nothing
Yeah.
to, nothing degenerate about this.
Exactly.
Who wants
Exactly.
to have sex with half a person?
Exactly. Yeah. I like him. Hiding Dev's car while he moves specifically for $2 says, imagine a world where Greedo shot second was canon. That's
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Forrest for $5 says this show is a $180 million therapy vanity project for the gay director and her estranged sister. Lucasfilm is full of incompetent writers. That's sad if that's the case. I know
Yeah.
there was
No.
some interview with her saying that she has some like estranged sister that she wanted her just watch this or something.
Yeah, I
I
did
mean,
see that interview, and I actually Googled
yeah.
her sister to try and see like what has her sister done any interviews? Who is her sister?
If I was her sister and I watched this, I'd become more estranged.
Yes, yeah.
I'd be embarrassed. It's like, oh Jesus,
I
it's
would start a
embarrassing.
YouTube channel and I would
Right?
just rip this apart. I'd be like,
Yes.
ah, look at this failure.
This is
I'm a
trash.
radiologist. She can't even look how bad she fumbled Star Wars.
I know. What a retard. The power of one, the power of two. Oh my God, the cringe.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
hilarious would that be if her strange sister's like super like anti all this stuff, like a super Trump fan or
Oh, I
something.
know. She's got a MAGA hat
Comes out
on
with
and
like a MAGA
she's
hat. Oh my God, that'd be
that would be
hilarious.
great. Or
She mates her
she's a police officer.
her sister's a police officer. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Her sister's a police officer. She's like, ah, my fucking sister made Star Wars woke, that bitch. That'd be amazing. Hiding in Dev's car while he moves specifically for $5. Thank you. Because the writer's treatment of the dead in the show is an excellent metaphor for how Disney treats the franchise. That's
Very
true.
true. Yeah, no
Yeah,
respect for the dead.
no respect.
Was that last scene with the funeral pyre? Was that an attempt to like make up for all this?
That's I mean, it's better than just leaving the bodies there before and
Yeah.
having the 80
At least she
uh,
cremated him, right?
right. Yeah, the ADR the line in afterwards. Be like, oh, we should probably pick up these dead bodies, not leave them in the jungle to like rot.
They should have had like a 50-gallon drum full of acid and her just like drop
There you go.
Soul's body into it. There we go.
There
Let's
you
just
go.
seal this up and send it down the river.
There you go. Uh, Grendel Vat for $5 says necessary as these group therapy sessions are. You guys will be reviewing good stuff in the future for all our sakes, right? Sure, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Review good stuff too. The Stug for $2 says the deep state I am. There you go. Yoda is the deep state. Fondue for $2 says member Yoda. I member. That's right. Rich Jammer, thanks so much for the 50 PPP. Says first super to YouTubers I've never seen before. That's right. Wink, wink. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Force for $5 says only shitty identity politics writers would look at a group like the Jedi and say, let's make them the bad guys. Completely missed the point of the IP. Very true.
Yeah.
Jim.
They've completely destroyed the whole IP.
Exactly. J-Mac, thanks so much for Circuit 5. Thank you so much for the $40. Says it's really not hard to write a story with characters that embody the pathway to hell being paved with good intentions. There's a story there that could have worked, but the writers are so flipping incompetent. Soul doesn't come off as someone with good intentions that made mistakes, but is a weird, creepy guy with no self-preservations. Osha's switch makes no sense. She's not a character, but merely a vehicle for crappy writing. Very true. Very true. Yeah, you could have totally done that. Someone's trying to do the good thing and they start justifying bad things to cover up or to get to the good place. Definitely, definitely. But whoever the woman that wrote this and her staff are all horribly incompetent.
It's super sad too because this is I think what a lot of the fans wanted. A lot of the fans were excited about the Acolyte because it was going to explore the Sith. So, you know, that was a topic that
Yeah.
people found interesting and they just did not deliver on that at all.
No.
And to put that aside, the thing that is super, embedded in Star Wars lore and part of the franchise to explore this like sisterhood thing. Oh, such a kick in the teeth.
Yep. Wonton Tiger for 10 Canadian says, sounds like they needed more balance in the force of their writing here. Some of the themes sound like they could have worked it done better. What do people want out of Star Wars at this point? I don't know. It's a good. I mean, that's kind of a big contentious issue. Some people they just want like cool lightsaber fights. I think anything could do well as long as it just has a good story. I think you can do good stories with the Jedi. I think you could do good stories in the Star Wars universe without the Jedi, and they just can't seem to do it. Disney just can't seem to manifest it.
There is so much interesting lore though in the Star Wars universe. It's got to be on screen. Like the casual Star Wars fan needs to be able to watch these things. Not even the casual Star Wars fan, like the person who's coming to the Star Wars franchise for the first time needs to be able to watch this and see a lot of interesting stuff that ties to the lore, and it makes them want to become more it makes them want to search more into the Star Wars property. It makes them want to watch more
Right.
movies, see more movies in the future. Just none of that is happening here.
Well, I think part of the problem is, I mean, it's hard to tell what is just bad writing and what is Disney oversight problem, because it seems like there's some kind of mandate where you can't have a TV. All those TV shows have to be prequels. None of them can be sequels. Like they want to keep the sequels, I guess, for like the movie territory or something, which I think is a mistake. Because I think people get so tired of prequel. You got to move forward, right? You got to move forward at some point. And I don't know. And I wonder if, because you're right, like there's so much lore that could be investigated and show. They could talk about, get to know more about the Force, get to know more about the Sith, get to know more about whatever. And they never really, everything is just so lightly touched on. And I don't know if that's because the writing is just horribly incompetent, or if Disney is just terrified of like letting anyone actually write the rules of what the fuck the lore is in this universe out in like a TV show or something.
Yeah, like they don't want them to use Darth. Well, look, they let him use fucking Yoda. What like
No, but I mean, just be like, this is like the lore to explain like how a fight with the Force works, right? Or this is exact like there's a lot of things from the first movie that were just in the first movies that were just never explained, but it wasn't really important enough to be explained that you could really go get into and would be interesting. Like, how exactly does fighting with the Force work? Like, why do they even fight with lightsabers as opposed to just using telekinesis? Like, what does that look like? Is like the entire time a Jedi's are fighting each other with like a Sith with a Force, are they actually also using the Force, but they're like balancing each other out with they're just not using their hands? Like, I don't know. There's a million different like weird kind of interesting things you could explore. They don't talk about any of them.
yeah, maybe they're afraid.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a mandate from Disney. Ace for $5 says, guys, look, Village Braid. It's an anime short that shows a cool femme MC in Star Wars. Check it out, Village Braid. Doug for $2 says, oh, nothing you must. Happy you will be. There you go. And second round $2 says, oil Naboo has. Democracy we will bring. There you go. Turns out Yoda is just a neoliberal shell this whole time. I like it. Anyways,
This is so bad. I can't wait to watch a bunch of videos on this because everyone's going to go
you know.
insane as they should, and
Oh, and
hopefully
also, yeah,
Acolyte is dead.
did you see that meme that I sent you? I didn't even
Oh,
think
I
about
guess I
that.
never looked at it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that in the show. Um, Someone also made a meme of like Ghost Obi-Wan talking to Luke. Luke's like, are the Jedi the good guys? And Obi-Wan says, no, silly boy. Jedi are evil. Lesbian witches are good.
I killed your friends. I like your penis. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen this meme before. So
Yeah, it's like so insane. It's so insane. She's like, she supposedly was supposed to have some weird like romance with Jackie, right? What's up with that? And apparently I thought she was friends with Yord. They like trained together. This guy murdered all of them. And she's like, whatever, I'll bang you now. Like, God, this show makes women the worst ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
so much for feminism, right?
Yes. Yes. Terrible. Fondue for Joe says, wait, Arcane was a prequel. Oh no, this is my fault. There you go. It's true. And May566 for $5 says, are you guys ready for the Rey movie? She's going to build back better. She's going to make the Jedi finally a force for good in the galaxy. That's terrible.
I'm not ready for the Ray movie at all. Who wants a Ray movie?
Right. Nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway,
All right, cool. This was
thank you so
fun.
much. That was fun. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay.